Raider! Oakland, L.A., Oakland, Vegas, Raider Nation, wherever, forever! You got your old Uncle Mosh and Raiders Fan Radio from Murph's Fan Cave, taking a lighter journey into the dark side. Sit back, put your feet up, pop a top, and enjoy the ride. Here we go!
Look left, look right, Bolitnikov, a leaking pass, touchdown!
We miss you, we love you, and we'll see you in the Hall of Fame.
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players, you have a great organization, and you tell them one thing, just win, baby.
Way up the middle, intercepted Filipiano at the 50, time running down, Oakland football, and I think Oakland victory.
The Oakland Raiders have scored on the most zany, unbelievable, absolutely impossible dream of a play. Well, I love this team. I think this team can win. I think this team can win.
Yeah, and I'm getting ready to go over to the show. What is up, Raider Nation? It's your old buddy Murph, back once again for another, what I hope to be fantastic episode of Raiders Fan Radio. Uncle Mosh is already hitting the boo button on me. We hadn't even gotten out of the gate.
I didn't like what you said earlier.
Well, you didn't even know what I said.
I read your lips.
So we were talking about ASMR, and you guys know what a big fan of ASMR Uncle Mosh is.
All right.
Anyways, welcome to episode... it is not your turn yet. It's not your turn.
Hang on a
Trying
second.
to be a part of it.
Hold on. Do it again.
No, don't do it again.
All right. Okay. All right. It is not your turn yet. All right. So welcome to episode number 126 of Raiders Fan Radio. Your old buddy Murph back once again here in Murph's Fan Cave. Appreciate you all joining us on this episode of Raiders Fan Radio. Appreciate those of you that are already checking in on the chat here on the live stream on the YouTube. Sean Grogan, Shawshank Raider, Raider Rich, Two Deuce, Joe Santiago, Jesse Rosales, Mojo Raider, of course, in there. Awesome to see you all, and I appreciate what you do to support us here at Raiders Fan Radio. All right, so it's episode number 126. We are in the middle of our draft craziness, and so we took last week off, but we're back this week, and then we're going to take next week off, and then you're going to get sick of seeing us because we're going to have like a 3-day run of a ton of content coming to you all, and that's going to be on your way from, of course, yours truly, and the man with the plan, the man that adorns the southern annex of the Murph's Fan Cave desk here in the Murph's Fan Cave. That is the one and only Uncle Mike.
So good to be back. Man, I have had just going, and I'm taking a couple days off tomorrow, so I'm feeling like maybe this might be a marathon show.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
nice. Well, we've got so much to get to, and because we're off next week, this might be a good time to do one of those marathon shows.
Yeah. So, you and I always say that. We always go, oh, we're going to 90-minute show. We're going to go 90 minutes, and then we end up going like 2 hours.
Yeah.
So now we go marathon show. We'll be out of here in like 27 minutes.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what?
Is it? Well, go ahead. What?
That's not a hard thing. I go, guess what? You go, what?
Well,
seriously, am I going to have to come over there and give you a fresh one?
Well, I was just wondering, like, Wilson's been absent, and it looks like you may have traded him in on a Titans fan or something over there.
Oh, okay. So just piss on my parade.
Well, he's on the video.
I was going to introduce him.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well,
I was going to say I brought somebody.
Holy cow, guys.
Hold on. Hey,
you're killing me.
You're killing me.
Yeah, okay. So,
I'm sorry.
Hold on. Okay, wait, let's reset. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. What?
Well, I wanted to let you know. I brought somebody.
You brought somebody.
I brought somebody.
You got a sidekick tonight.
I got a sidekick tonight, and I can't think of a better sidekick to have than N. Jeff.
You brought N. Jeff with you.
I brought N. Jeff.
Yeah.
His name is not N. Jeff, like A-N-N-E.
Yeah.
It's N. Jeff.
And Jeff.
And Jeff.
Yeah.
So those that are listening on the podcast can't see it, but on the YouTubes I can see it. It says our logo, and then it says Uncle Mosh right underneath me, and then it says and Jeff.
And Jeff.
And this is Jeff. Say hi, Jeff.
Oh, can I talk now?
Yeah.
Without getting beat? What's going on, Raider Nation?
Man, well, I'll tell you so let's talk about Jeff.
All right, so why would we have Jeff on Raiders Fan Radio? Well, there's a reason for it. You guys have actually seen him. Those of you that watch us on the YouTube, you saw me and Jeff. See what I did?
That's right.
You saw me and Jeff when we went down to Nissan Stadium. This was, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, maybe?
Yeah.
We'd gone down to Nissan Stadium because the idea was this, is that Jeff has spent a lot longer time in Nashville than I have. Maybe not Mosh. You've been here.
I've been here since '89, and Jeff was 7 then.
Okay,
So-
all right.
I was 1 then.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right. So, but Jeff kind of knows the city, and he's a Titans fan, and we thought, well, this would be kind of fun that we could do some draft videos leading up to the draft and feature a guy that's, he's from outside of Nashville, but from Nashville, and a fan of the team. So that would be a fun way to kind of incorporate some of our draft stuff. But what we found out quickly, Jeff, was that doing videos and editing videos is way different than doing audio.
Right.
We are, even though we're on the live stream, we're an audio based show, and like editing that stuff is one thing. I'm not a video editor. So anyway, so that kind of project went by the wayside a little bit, but that was the reason that we wanted to bring and Jeff in. And the first time that everybody saw and Jeff was when that day. Well, now we, at least at a minimum, we wanted to bring him back for today, since this is our last show before the draft.
Sure.
And so welcome back,
not
and Jeff.
the first time that he's actually been on the air with us when we were live at the Titans game.
Yes.
He brought his lovely
good
wife.
call.
And we had Kevin, and we had some of the other people, and Jeff.
And Jeff.
And
And that was the first time.
That was
Good
the very
call.
first
Very good
time
call.
that
Yeah,
we had.
That's right.
So I love it. Stacy says, excuse me, it's the Jeff and I. No, Stacy, it's really not, because that would take somebody that has a degree in English. Oh, wait. That would be me.
But I like the Uncle Mosh and Jeff, and then it's not capitalized, and you did get the Comic Sans treatment there.
Yes,
buddy.
you did.
I had to talk you into putting it off of my face.
Yeah, well, here.
Well, it's because of that stupid hat you're wearing.
That's perfect. Thank you.
There you go. Sit up straight. There you go. Yeah, and Jeff.
Yeah. So, and Jeff, been a friend of ours, was a student of mine 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And immediately when he was a student, I used to tell him stories about casino sports, and Jeff would say, "Well, Coach Salty, that sounds like a lot of fun." And I'd say, "Okay, well, when you get 21, call me." Right? So when he turns
My 21st birthday.
yeah, so his 21st birthday, the next day, he said, "Hey, Coach Salty, can we go to the casino?" And we've been going ever since.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then of course, we worked together, and and then you guys ended up working together, and that's just so.
He's like part of the family.
He's just
now.
one of us.
Murph and Mosh are my 2 oldest friends, and I don't mean people I've known the longest. You guys really are the 2 oldest friends that I have, because you're 20 years older than me.
Yeah. So we're 20 years older than you, but we never did quite beat you enough to tell you that, Jeff, you're coming to Raiders Fan Radio and you're sporting a Titans hat.
This might be an intervention.
I think we need to.
I think this needs to be an intervention.
Bring it down a little bit.
All right, look at Jeff. We here at Raiders Fan Radio, we take all comers. Our fandom we feel that fandom is only defined by the passion in which you root for the football team in which you do. Okay? And we feel that there is no such thing as a real fan or a true fan. We are all Raiders fans. So whatever it is that you decide to do with your fandom, as long as you're passionate about it, that's the only thing we care about. We don't care about duration. We don't care about, we care about that once it starts, it doesn't stop. You can't stop and team that it's for life. But we don't care if you've been a Raiders fan for a week or you've been a Raiders fan for years. I think it might be time for you to join the club, man. Look, because you mentioned we're your 2 oldest friends. I like to think that we're 2 of the bigger spheres or influencers in your sphere.
2 of my best friends as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, it might be time to drop that Titans hat, man. Like for real.
Hey,
it might be time to come onto the dark side.
I'm easily persuaded.
Here's the thing: what Jeff's not telling you, and I've known Jeff for over 20 years, and I remember he was hey Jeff, let's talk about football. Okay, so. Now, you got to remember, 20 years ago, when I had Jeff, the first time I had him in class, I think Phillip Rivers was in his 5th or 6th year in the NFL. He only had 7 kids then, and he was couldn't believe it. He's a San Diego fan.
Yeah,
And then he starts dating this one girl, and he's like, next thing I know, he's wearing a Chiefs jersey. Oh, she breaks his heart, and all of a sudden he's like, no, I only follow I follow college football. And then I'm like, why, Jeff? Well, that new girl is kind of like from Louisiana. And I'm like,
was that when you were an LSU fan?
Yeah. And I'm like, Jeff, stop it. Well, now
I've taken a tour around the NFL, around the country.
Now he's married to this wonderful lady, the mama of his babies, and he's back to hanging out with you and I. So it's time. It's time that this goes away.
Okay.
Shed it. Put it on, Jeff. There we go.
All right. Well,
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
He will be the artist formerly known as Titan Jeff.
That's Titan Jeff. I like it. All right. So you can wear that. And now look. Now this is not lightly. This is not a. We'll get to the hazing and all that stuff later. But this is not
is there an initiation?
Well,
yes, and this is not something lightly. Like, I'm curious to see what the chat has to say about this, because this should not be lightly taken. We don't want you to think that this could be like, oh, the next time somebody is good, or you know what I mean? Like, you put that hat on, dude. Like, it's for real. Like, it's for life, man. Like, this goes forever.
Yeah, and our Capo, and we'll explain how all this works later, but Capo says Murph's about to jump Jeff into the nation. Hashtag gangland.
All right. Yeah.
That's exactly right. Absolutely. Well, welcome, Jeff. Jeff's not going to be able to stay with us the entire time, because at some point we're going to ask him to leave. That was a joke. But anyway, but appreciate you sitting in with us, man. It's been fun.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for welcoming me into the nation.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Raiders.
So we always ask our guests for a message to Raider Nation. You don't even, okay, first off, you got to pass the quiz. Who's our quarterback?
Well, Derek Carr.
Okay, and who would be your favorite then, Raider?
Antonio Brown.
Oh, there you
Okay. Hey,
nice.
Hey,
you
good job. All right.
Hey,
Yeah.
can I tell you, I got a quick story about that.
Okay, sell it.
So Antonio Brown has always been a player that I've drafted in fantasy football, but didn't really know anything about. Well, I was watching a Monday Night Football game last year, and they panned out to his dad. His dad's name is Eddie Brown. And before I moved to Middle Tennessee, I lived in Albany, New York. And the only football team that we had in Albany was the Arena Football League, Albany Firebirds.
Oh, nice.
The star wide receiver was touchdown Eddie Brown.
No way.
I grew up watching his dad. So,
nice.
Yeah, so I'm all in on Antonio Brown. I'm all
Okay,
about it.
that's the kind
cool.
of stuff that gets you in, Raider
Yeah,
Nation.
right there.
exactly.
Absolutely.
The
Yeah,
legacy
that's legit.
stuff.
Yeah, that's nice. Good job, dude. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, welcome to the squad.
Thank you.
All right. Well, so let's jump into the show here. So first and foremost, appreciate those of you that are joining us here on Raiders Fan Radio. You can support us numerous ways. Number one is subscribe to this channel. That's Murph's Fan Cave at youtube.com/Murph's Fan Cave. You can also, if you have an Android phone, we have an app. You can just search for Murph's Fan Cave and you can get this show. You can get Mondays with Mikey and Murph, and you can get the Fan Club Blitz with Splatterhead and Fitz. Excuse me. And then also we have a link on this video, and then also on our audio stuff. There's a link there that takes you to NFLshop.com. And so, Jeff, now that you're a Raiders fan, you need to go and buy some new gear.
I need to load up.
And use that link, and then that will take you to NFLshop.com. Doesn't cost you anything extra, but what it does is that registers us, registers our website, that's how you got to NFLshop.com, and they then kick us back some money, where we're going to accumulate all of those funds, and at the end of the year, we're going to present a check, one of those big, cool, fancy checks, to the Bolitnikoff Foundation. We've been invited to present that check live, so we're going to do that live. And so all of the money that we collect through this effort, we are going to present it on behalf of the listeners of Raiders Fan Radio. And you know what, guys? We're already almost to $100.
Nice.
Yeah, I know, and that may not sound like a lot.
2 weeks, dude, and we don't beg
2
for
weeks,
money.
And this is April, so by the time we get through like the buying season and we start the new season,
sweet.
okay, my goal, and I don't think this is crazy, I'd like to get couple grand.
That's
together.
what we said. That's what we were shooting for.
I think a couple grand is a fair number. So please help us get that money together to contribute to the Bolitnikoff Foundation. Also, we will have, and I've had folks ask already too, is there a way to just contribute directly? Of course you can contribute to them directly, but they also ask to contribute to us directly. We will be glad to do that as well. And we'll have a PayPal set up for the show. Not yet. That will be coming in the next couple of weeks. As soon as we get through the draft, I'll focus more on that and get that together. But please hit that link, go buy a bunch of stuff, and let's support the Bolitnikoff Foundation.
All right, boys and girls, pay attention. You got your old Uncle Mosh here with an update. That's right. I got some stuff for you. Take out a piece of paper, a pencil, a pen. Heck, use your pocket knife and carve the info into your dashboard as you're driving down the highway. First off, you need to like us on our fan page on Facebook. That's right. Go to Facebook at Raiders Fan Radio Podcast. Don't forget about the Twitter. You know your old Uncle Mosh, he twits now. That's right. Go to at Raiders Fan Radio. Also, don't forget the Instagram at Raiders Fan Radio. Or what about our website? That's right, RaidersFanRadio.com. Heck, if you want to, you can even email us show at RaidersFanRadio.com or call us on the Raiders Fan Radio hotline, 909-345-3346. That's 909-345-3346. Don't forget Merv's Fan Cave on the YouTube, where you can get all the show links like the Fan Club Blitz with Splatterhead and Fitz. Find all our stuff on podcast providers like Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Play. All right, did I hit the time limit? Good.
All right, Raider Nation, welcome to episode number 126. So as you know, we always like to refer back our show numbers to something significant in Raider Nation. Last week, we kind of took the week off, although we did have a really cool interview with Sean Stellato, who is an NFL agent. He represents numerous players in the NFL, including a bunch of Raiders and including a bunch of guys that have won Super Bowls. He's a super cool guy. And so if you haven't heard that interview yet, go back and check that out. That was what we did for episode number 125. So for episode number 126, Mosh, you know, we use that number to reference back to a date or a yardage total or various different things. Well, since we missed 125, I kind of would like to still use that number we'll call it a look back, because the date 125, you want to tell us what happened?
Jeez, 125. Raiders win Super Bowl 15.
Absolutely. Raiders win Super Bowl 15. So that's Jim Plunkett. That's our second Super Bowl, one in New Orleans against the Philadelphia Eagles. And I would like to use this as an opportunity to tell you also, we have a super cool Super Bowl show that you and I did this last Super Bowl, last on Sunday.
It was one of our favorite shows to do.
It was a blast.
Yeah.
It was a blast. So if you want to hear about Super Bowl 15, instead of hearing us play audio and talk about it tonight, go back and check that show out.
Yeah. It was great. And it was so much better than the other Super Bowl stuff that was on the networks.
Yeah, the 9 hours of
the 9 hours of Super Bowl stuff for the Super Bowl that nobody cared about.
Absolutely. All right, so we got that. So episode number 125. All right, so Mosh, you know, here on Raiders Fan Radio, we do a thing called respect. We don't do shout outs. We don't do props. Nothing wrong with those two things. Jeff, you need to know this as well. We give respect. Okay. And so what? Whenever Uncle Mosh laughs, there's usually something going on in the chat. So let's go over to the chat room and check in with Uncle Mosh.
Actually, it's not necessarily the chat, but Jeff and I are sharing a monitor. And Jeff's sitting there and he keeps looking at the monitor, and then he cuts his eyes at you. And it's like, he's got that, I'm going to put a pencil in his eye look.
Well, what would you rather me do? I'm going to start resting right here. How about that? Would you like that better?
No, I was cracking up. I was like, okay, he's just like, what and I'm thinking, Murph, what did you do to piss this kid off?
What do they call it? I have RBF.
Yeah, your RBF.
It's RDF for guys, I think.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, what did I do to him? We put him in a Raider hat. That's what we did. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was something else I was going to tell you about that too, about being a Raider fan. I can't remember what it was now.
It'll come to us.
It'll come to me, man. There was something else. I had a follow-up to you about wearing that hat and representing the nation. Oh, I know what it was. I'm glad this all happened now. This is for the chat. I'm curious what the chat has to say about this too. I'm glad this happened now because we're like I said, we accept all comers, but if we win a Super Bowl, the people that are rocking Raider gear 2 weeks later, those people maybe not so much.
Right.
So right now, Jeff, we're 4-12. Like, this is a perfect time.
A perfect time to jump on.
Okay. Hey, so speaking of jump on, Jesse Rosales, after you laid your head on my shoulder, goes, "Hey, lay your head on my shoulder."
Hey, easy.
Jeff's got a fan.
All right. Hey, right on. Thank you.
Good deal. All right, so we want to give out some respect, so Jeff, first person we're going to give, or first team of folks we're going to give respect to, is Wolfpack Nation. I know, Jeff, you watch our show, so if you saw last week, we got called out by the guys and gal at Wolfpack Nation to make an appearance on their show, and I went all stone cold on them in our response. And Mosh unfortunately had real life kick in this week. It's production week for him, so he was unable to join me on Wolfpack Nation. But I went on their show and had a blast, and so I want to give all those guys respect. I was on the air with, of course, Monster Mash Ken, Bobby Wasabi, and Raider VC, and those guys were great. We had I think we did like a little over an hour, and we talked Raiders for about 10 minutes. And look, I'm always up for talking Raiders, but we talked about comics, we talked about movies, we talked about music, we talked about wrestling, we talked about everything. It was a blast. Those guys are a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So how do we hear them?
So you can check them out. So they're on iTunes, man. Just look for Wolfpack Nation, and they're on there, and they're all over Twitter and everything else. You can find them.
Okay, right on.
But Jeff, you're a wrestling guy as well.
Well, yeah.
And so their show is great. It's Raiders and wrestling.
Perfect.
I know, right? And it's like attitude.
Two of my favorite things.
So we have.
That's what I'm supposed to say, right?
That's exactly right. Yeah.
One of our casino trips, about 7 years ago, Jeff and I go down to, we were down in Tunica, Mississippi, and we ran into the King. Remember?
Sure did, yeah.
You guys met Lawler?
He and I ran into Jerry the King Lawler, and Lawler was down there. People don't know this, but Lawler owns one of the Batmobiles from the 1960s.
The original TV show.
The original
like the
TV
Adam
show.
West Batman.
I
And
didn't know that.
So I have a picture, and we'll put it up on our thing since Jeff's one of us now, of Jeff and Lawler standing next to the Batmobile.
Oh, how cool is that?
It was epic.
It was really
great.
cool. We had a blast down there.
Oh, that's awesome. Good stuff. Well, anyway, so thank you to those guys. Thank you to the Wolfpack Nation crew. Had a blast with you all. And we need to get an invite. We'll go out to everybody eventually. But for right now, we want to get Monster Mash Ken on Raiders Fan Radio. We want to talk to him. And for those of you that don't know, we met up with Monster Mash Ken originally because he's the guy that created that. He's the one that built Little Murph.
Nice.
So the original Little Murph.
That's so cool.
So yeah, Monster Mash Ken's a good dude, and he's got a good show over there, and the rest of those guys. And
he's ordered 20 more pounds of plastic when he gets my
To
doll.
make yours.
Shut up! That's not funny.
Now Monster Mash Ken will be at the draft too. We're gonna meet
Cool.
him in person, so that'll be a lot of fun. So we'll look forward to that as well. All right, so another one I want to give respect to. We got two more. Gosh, I got the burps tonight. Sorry, guys. Two more. Mosh, we got invited a while ago to be part of the Raiders fan convention in Arizona.
Correct.
We had Mike Summer, the guy that is the organizer of the Raiders fan convention. We had him on the show, and we had talked to him about being a part of it and doing a live stream of our podcast from there and whatnot. And there are more than one Raiders fan convention, but this last one we missed because it's right on top of the draft. It's within a couple of weeks, and we have so much other stuff going on with the draft stuff. We weren't able to get out to Arizona to do the Raiders fan convention. Plus, as we mentioned, it was production week for you. There would have been zero chance for you to leave to go out to Arizona this past weekend. But that said, I want to still celebrate what those folks did out there. They had an awesome turnout. All the Raiders super fans that Gorilla Rilla, Violator, Mr. J, all of those folks were out there. At least a majority of the super fans were there. Villa Piano was out there signing autographs. Nice. It was a super, super cool event. Props to those folks. It was a really nice turnout. And we have a little audio clip that I want to play, which is the news channel, the NBC out there in Phoenix, did their coverage of the event. We want to play the audio from that.
Well, the Oakland Raiders potentially playing half its home games in Tucson just flew under the radar, Coop, probably for good reason, because it wasn't very believable.
I didn't believe it for 1 second. But as you'll see here in tonight's latest installment of The Dozen, the silver and black is alive and well here in Arizona. Team 12's Rachel Cole checking it out for us.
Hey, we're here at the 5th annual Raider Nation Convention, where the fans are crazy and committed and in costumes. Raiders. Raider Nation.
Raiders!
Let's go take a look. What brings us to Phoenix? You said this is the 5th year in Phoenix.
There's such a large following of Raider Nation and Raider fans in Arizona that they demanded it.
What be a pirate's favorite letter?
Arr!
No, it's actually the sea. How do you decide on something like that? Who let you out of Wonderland? We do this every Sunday, so why are you doing it in April in Phoenix, dressed head to toe?
Because there is no all season.
Halloween every year.
Because the fans are monsters? You guys have any clothes that aren't black and silver?
Not much.
Why does the costume have to be so scary? Is it because the team's not very scary on the field? Look at this. Anybody have any on their good side?
You could have cut that.
The fans like this when you played.
Well, I think they were getting like this, but I don't know that. I don't remember this crazy.
What does it take to get your own trading card?
That was a one-time.
I need a Rachel Cole trading card. What would my name be, though?
Dirty Blonde Raider. Raider Nation is worldwide. From Phoenix to Chandler to Las Vegas to Oakland especially. Worldwide, United States, we're everywhere.
This is a lifestyle. So we do it how we feel, and that's all the time.
This is not a fashion. This is not a fad. It's us getting together. It's family.
Let me ask you this. Do you ever take the mask off?
Nope.
And I love your spirit. You got great Raider spirit.
Thank you so much. I just developed it today. Fellas, where do I get fitted for a skull mask? We're here to get fitted for a skull mask just for, for the record. Be ready!
We're taking it to the home opener in Oakland. She's going with us.
All right, we've seen it all here at Raider Nation at the Fan Fest, the 5th annual here in Phoenix. We don't know what they're doing here, but we are proud that they are here in Phoenix, celebrating. Give me a chance.
All right, here we go. Pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Pretty fun stuff. So there's no Titans Fan Fest, is there, Jeff?
No, I don't think so.
No, that's right.
Not a whole lot to celebrate lately.
No,
nice.
no one does it like we do. All right, one more quick one before we jump into some draft coverage. Mosh, we often jest about we are the most Mode 2 podcast, the most Clean Your Garage 2 podcast, the most Paint Your whatever spare room podcast.
Because we were number 2 on Wash Your Cat podcast.
There you go. Because we get feedback from folks, and it's really cool because you guys will send us messages or shoot us pictures or be like, hey, I'm doing this while I'm listening to you.
Right.
Okay, all right. I'm going to play. This has been the coolest one yet. And not that we don't love it when you all mow your lawn and listen to us. Thank you for doing that and keep doing that. But this is one of the more unique ones we've gotten yet. So I'm going to play the audio, all right, and then I'm going to describe to you what's been going on. Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
Oh,
push the button,
I know, I gotta turn it up.
One wanted, 11 for one. You got an entire team for one guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Great point, Mosh, is that because even Al was kind of under the veil of secrecy.
Any guesses of what's going on there?
A lot of times.
Well, they're listening to us in the background.
Yeah.
Us as Raider fans, we're not conditioned here lately to this type of
Sounds like a public restroom.
So I can see where it might be out of people's comfort zone.
This is what we're doing. This is our.
All right.
Is it in a gym?
Very close. Very, very close. All right. So the
Mojo goes, I've yelled at a room full of sailors while listening to y'all at work. That might have been a room full of sailors.
So this is cool, man. So this is this came to us via Instagram.
Okay.
And the Instagram name of the account is Staying Off My Toes. Okay.
Okay.
This lady is laying down, doing yoga, And her German Shepherd is coming over. You know, your dog, if you're going, you lay on the. So she's got this giant German Shepherd. This dog is like 100-pound German Shepherd that's coming over and messing with her while she's trying to do her yoga. And she's listening to us. So we are now officially the most yoga to podcast.
Nice.
Love it.
Nice.
Isn't that
I
great?
love it.
Here is the latest draft.
There's a draft. Today's our draft.
Watch out for drafts.
This is the NFL draft.
The first draft.
Look, I'm into a draft.
He's going pro in the draft.
You're going to the draft?
Surefire first round draft pick.
Draft looks solid.
Good luck with the draft.
They drafted me.
Apparently you were drafted.
I drafted you.
I got drafted.
Another successful draft.
Yeah. Shallow draft.
Draft picks.
It's my third draft.
You only get drafted once.
It's draft day.
Let's talk about the draft.
This is going to be the worst draft yet.
It's our draft.
You'll be a draft me in the first round.
Number one draft choice, signed a big contract.
Excellent draft.
Nashville Day. Nashville Day. Nashville Day.
All right, before we jump into the draft, you hear us laughing. Go ahead, Uncle Mosh. Tell us what's going on in the chat room.
So Ron, of course, we can't ever do the program without Ron. He says that listening to us is how, and doing weird things was how Robert Kraft got into some trouble. And then he follows it up with, he goes, this just in, episode 126, Mosh wears yoga pants. I don't think they make him in a 46 short.
And I love it. And then Dakota Raider.
Dakota Raider. I usually am taking a poop when I listen.
Nice.
Appreciate y'all joining us on the live stream and in the chat. Jeff, one of our favorite things about doing this show live is the chat. They are our brain. They are more entertaining than we are. They're funnier than we are. They're great. So thank you to all of you that are in there tonight. Irish Raider, Raider Critique, Aaron the Q-Dog, of course. Ron the Moderator is what we call him because he's the moderator of our chat room and he's a made man. So we call him the Moderator.
Right on.
And then who else is in there? Joe Santiago, of course, Dakota, as we mentioned. And so appreciate you all joining us.
Speaking of Irish Raider, you mentioned him. He says it's like 1 a.m. here. I'm listening to y'all while I go to sleep.
Oh, he's like for real Irish.
So Irish Raider,
that's
dude,
like an Irish guy.
You got a job interview tomorrow morning. We are on tape. No, it's not tape. We're saved.
We're digital.
We're digital.
It's a podcast. Yeah.
Dude, go to sleep. You got a job interview tomorrow.
I love it though. Thank you for listening and thank you for checking in. See, isn't that fun? I love, because Jeff, we were talking about stuff earlier. I was telling about I was doing the emails and we got an email from Haley in Scotland. He was like, "Wow, you got an email from Scotland?" I'm like, "Yeah, man." I'm like, "We get them from all over the place. It's really, really cool." So, all right. So let's talk about the draft a little bit. So again, as I mentioned, go ahead, Mosh.
No, never mind.
All right. All right.
Some folks are putting some stuff up on there.
That's why this show runs 3 hours every day.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mosh is just laughing at comments.
I get a little sidetracked. He
gets tickled by the chat over there. So,
my gosh.
All right. So anyway, let's talk a little bit about the draft. So the 2019 NFL draft is right here in Music City. For those of you that are new to the show, Uncle Mosh and I are originally from San Jose, California. We are Bay Area born and raised and have relocated to Middle Tennessee, but took our Raider fandom with us out here to Nashville. So while we certainly, obviously, clearly support the Raiders, it's very cool that the NFL draft is now going to be in our backyard here just out, the draft is in Nashville, and we live just outside of Nashville. So we wanted to continue on with some draft updates. First and foremost, if you're coming to the draft, please join us on Saturday, the 27th, at the Bavarian Beer House. That is in Opry Mills Mall, which is about 10 minutes outside of downtown where the actual draft is going to be held. Join us for lunch. We're going to go live at 12 o'clock noon. We're going to do a live broadcast of Raiders Fan Radio. We're going to have mics set up so folks can rotate through and be on the show and guest on the show. I know for sure Aaron the Q-Dog Raider is going to join us through a lot of our draft activities throughout the entirety of the weekend, but especially on that day, we're going to have Aaron sit in with us. And I know other folks like I know Raider Homer is going to be there. I've talked to Monster Mash Can, as I mentioned. I've talked to a lot of you already that are going to join us and also join us on the show. So please plan on attending that, sitting in with us for at least a few minutes, and so we get to introduce yourself and meet you in person and be part of the live stream. So that's going on Saturday. But the crux of it, the main part of it, is all going on prior to that on Thursday and on Friday, and that is all the stuff going on downtown. And now I'm going to turn it over to our newly anointed buddy Raider Jeff over here, and tell us, Jeff, a little bit about what's going on in Nashville for the draft.
Yeah. So I suggest that everyone that's coming down here needs to download the NFL Draft Experience app. So if you take a look right there, that's what you need. It's going to give you a kind of a rundown of what's going to be happening during the draft at Nissan Stadium. They're going to be doing concerts, different events for kids, adults, everybody. It's going to be a really cool thing. You can actually access Uber straight through this app, so that way you don't have to fool with actually getting on the other app or anything like that. It's a one-stop shop for everything you have to do. Pretty much just tells you where all the action is happening. There's maps on here where it'll show you kind of everything that's happened in downtown Nashville. So it's going to be a really cool thing. And
because it's not just because the stage actually where Goodell's going to announce the picks and like the players are going to walk up and hug and get their jersey and all that. That's outside, right?
Right. Yeah. That's not at Nissan Stadium. That's actually at Lower Broadway and First Ave right there. It's going to be really cool. So you're going to be people are going to be lined up down Broadway all the way down. So there's bars and all this kind of stuff. You can stop at Acme, Hard Rock right there at First Ave and Broadway. You can go all the way down. There's a million bars down there, so you can go in there and partake if you want while you wait for the next Raider pick.
And there's going to be 3 of them. So
yeah. So drink up for the first round, but after that, you guys, we'll be having a good time in there. So
absolutely. So all of the draft itself, as far as the formal drafting, will happen there. So right down the road from there is the Schermerhorn Symphony Hall.
Yes.
That's where the teams are going to be set up with their little war rooms, which is it, and you're going to have access to that if you're coming, and that's going to be like it's blocks away. But then tell them about the pedestrian bridge and how to get over to the draft experience.
Yeah, so straight from Broadway right there, it's just a big bridge, a pedestrian bridge. You just go across right there, and it dead ends at Nissan Stadium. So you can kind of go back and forth if you want, kind of just take a look all around and check out the city that we call home.
Yeah, absolutely. Very cool stuff. And, the app is great. It's available now. We've told you about the app and to register for it. Well, now you can actually get it. And it's cool, man. There's like check-ins and so you can earn badges for going to the different concerts and different venues. And because the entire city is the venue, but then there's venues within the venue. Like it's
right.
Because it's just the city. It's not like the draft isn't at a place. It is downtown Nashville.
Yeah.
It's pretty darn cool the way it's sprawled out.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be a lot of
fun. So what else? Anything else you want? Any tips about downtown? Give us an idea of what downtown Nashville's like. Because we like to say no fan left behind too. So for anybody that can't make it to the draft, what does that scene look like, Jeff, down there on Lower Broad?
Oh man, it's crazy every night. I used to drive for Lyft. So I could tell you all kinds of stories about just the craziness that happens downtown, and it's a nonstop party. It's really cool. I haven't done it in a long time. I have 2 kids, so I have 2 kids under 2. So my party days are about over. But
everything's gonna be closed down there. But it's on a normal night. It's 7-8 deep of people on every sidewalk down there and going into every venue, right?
They have to close off like half the streets because there's people, piling into the streets trying to get into bars and all that. It's insane.
So this entire area will be closed off. So literally all of Broadway will just be pedestrians. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, it's just going to be a sea of fans. It's going to be really cool.
They do just for perspective, they do a lot of cities around the world on New Year's Eve do a drop. Of course, the most famous is the ball dropping in New York City. In Nashville, they do it's a music note that drops.
Yes.
And it's kind of cool, and they get hundreds of thousands of people down. But they said that this is the largest event that Nashville has ever hosted in our history.
Yes,
it's so big, and the stage is so big that they've actually come in and the NFL has at their expense had to remove trees, these flowering cherry trees that are worth thousands and thousands of dollars, and relocate them, like bring in professional tree digger take them out and then replant them elsewhere, and then coming back in to plant 250 more trees after the stage is removed.
Yes.
It's crazy. You can go on the YouTube, and there's some people that have done some of the delayed or the time lapse photography to watch the stage getting built and stuff. It's unbelievable. This is just it's the coolest thing. Now, it's not grandiose and huge like New York City Times Square on New Year's Eve, but for our little town, for Music City, USA, it's a monster. So and it's gonna be all welcoming. It's gonna be just right on. It's gonna be amazing.
So Mosh, you haven't seen this yet, but earlier today, because I work near downtown at times, I had some time and I went over to the stage. And I went over and walked around. I did a little live stream. So if you're on our YouTube feed, just go back and look at our videos there. One of the most recent, and you'll see me walking around that stage. I'm not kidding when I tell y'all it's 200 yards long. The stage is. It's huge, and it's built out over the riverfront. So when you go down, because I went down to where the water is, it's 30 feet above your head. To the top. It's massive. So I'm assuming all the players will be set up on all that part, kind of, because it's all so if you're on Broad and you go left, all down First that way, that's where the stage extends out. So I'm going to assume that's where
the tables are going to be set up.
That's where all the tables, that's the green room and all that stuff.
Sure.
And then the players will then come out to the main stage, to Broad. It's massive. It's so cool. It was one of the coolest things, man. I can't wait to see what it's like when it's completed. Yeah, absolutely. So anything else on the draft? I know you got to run. So anything else you want to tell us about the draft? Anything you want to say to your newfound family of Raider Nation?
Yeah. Thank you for welcoming me. And do you have a chant besides just Raiders?
That's all you need to know, man.
That?
Yeah, that's all you need to know.
That's all we need to know.
Yeah,
that's all.
What kind of chant did they have at LSU?
Hey, you know what you need to do. You need to go home and memorize the Autumn Wind.
Yeah.
That will be that's kind of like. And next time you're on the show, we're gonna need you to at least run a few bars of the Autumn Wind. Okay,
I can do that.
It's a little known fact, Jeffy's actually an accomplished singer.
He's an accomplished singer.
Yeah, we might have to have him write a tune.
Write a Raiders song. Write a Raiders song.
There you go.
Raiders are great. Murph and my sock.
All right, well, Jeff, we'll appreciate you sitting in with us.
Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely.
And I'm looking forward to being a part of this.
All right, man. Good to have you.
Yeah.
All right, brother.
Thank you very much.
All right, drive safe.
See you, bro.
All right, Raider Nation, appreciate you all joining us. Mosh, hit us with a bump there, and then we will get on to the next segment.
All right, then.
Nobody enjoyed a good Donnybrook more than sixth-year linebacker Phil Villapiano.
Linebacker, number 41, Phil.
Q-Dog Raider says, go get your shine box, Jeff.
And you're listening to Raiders Fan Radio.
All right, Raider Nation, let's go ahead and jump into some of the big stories of the week. And so, Mosh, today, Jeff, before you leave, remember this. Today's John Madden's birthday. Perfect. So today is April the 10th, Uncle Mosh, and one of the, if not greatest coach of all time. It's his birthday, so we would like to wish Coach Madden a very happy birthday today. We love numbers. I don't do math, but I'm pretty sure that 36 to 19 is 83. So I believe he's 83 years old today. And Mosh, before I got some audio clips. Before I jump into those, I'm gonna give you one of my favorite Madden things, and then I'd like to hear one of yours. My favorite Madden thing is Madden became. Of course, he was the Raiders coach, and he was very important to me as a kid, and hearing the stories and getting to know him about his Raider history. But then he was the voice of CBS Sunday Football, him and Pat Summerall to me. And then being a gamer and a Madden fan, he became, the synonymous with the Madden video game. So Madden has kind of one of those guys just kind of been with me since in all facets of my fandom, from watching football and playing football and being then of course the coach of the Raiders. One of the things, though, my favorite quotes that he ever had, though, that I still use to this day, and I've always used it. I use it in my business life, my personal life, And instead of me saying it, let's go ahead and play the clip here, and I'm gonna let Coach Madden say my all-time favorite.
I used to say something at halftime. I had no idea what it meant, but I heard it someplace, and it sounded like a pretty good idea. The last thing I'd say was, don't worry about the horse being blind, just load the wagon. Then let's go. I have no idea what it meant, but some guys kind of got excited when I said it.
All right, so don't worry about the horse being blind, just load the wagon. And, you know, to me, and he says he doesn't know what it means. Well, to me, the meaning was this, is that sometimes you just got to jump. Sometimes you just got to, you know, there's not necessarily a good decision or a bad decision. You just got to make a decision, and you got to trust your preparation. You got to trust your instinct, and you just got to go for it, man. You just got to take a risk. And to me, like, look, if the horse is blind, well, you know, we can't control whether the horse can see or not. All we can do is load the wagon, man. All we can do is go, right?
Load it up. Let's go.
Let's load it up and let's go. And there's a lot of things, even to this show, Mosh. We'll be running up to the last second of preparation, and then sometimes you'll be like, just hit it. Just hit it. Let's just go. and like, you know, and those are the kind of things that go through my head, like, just load the wagon. So what about you? Give me some Madden stuff.
So I may have told the story on the air one time a while back, but my ma, your grandma, met John Madden, and they when she decided, you know, that she and that guy that she was seeing, who later became her husband, when she decided that they were going to get married, well, my ma, your grandma, she didn't fly. She was just like Madden. She didn't fly.
She didn't fly.
She didn't fly. She didn't want no part of that. So they were taking a train. And they were taking a train from Denver to Chicago. And they decided that they were going to get married. So all of a sudden, her husband, who was Broncos fan.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. He goes, that's John Madden over there. That's John Madden. And she's like, no, it's not. Shut up. Sit down. You're tall. You're skinny. You don't know nothing. So a couple seconds later, my ma realizes it's John Madden. Well, she's my ma, so nothing scares her. She was 5'2" by 5'2". She looked like a peach on two pencils. You know, she goes over and she introduces herself. She goes, "Mr. Madden, I'm Jenny." Like he's supposed to know her.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, and apparently he stood up and he says, "Nice to meet you." She said he was the biggest man she'd ever seen in her life. And of course, here comes her hubby, and they talk a second, you know, about football. And she goes, "Where are you going?" And he goes, "Chicago." And she says, "Well, so are we." And she goes, "We're going to get married. Will you be our best man?"
No way.
Yeah, and he's like, "Well, I got this little game that I have to coach." You know, I don't remember what the deal was, why he was on the train instead of, or maybe he was
probably on his way to broadcast the game.
Maybe he was going to call the game.
Yeah,
I don't remember because it was so long ago. But yeah, that's my favorite Madden story.
Awesome.
And my mother asked him to be the best man at her wedding. Hell, she didn't ask me or my brothers or my sister or you, and she always liked you more than us. Yes, John Madden.
Yes, John Madden.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Great story, Mosh. Well, you know, Madden is, you know, it's hard to say he's underrated, but I think in the terms of the Raiders, we as fans really, truly underrate his importance to the team, because we always go to Al. And look, there's nothing wrong with Al. I got his book right here, which we're giving these away at the draft, by the way. If you're coming to the draft, the first 10 of you are going to get one of these, and it's probably going to be signed by Steve Corcoran. But we always go to Al, you know, because Al's the godfather. Al's the maverick. Al's the one that broke the barriers. Al did this. Al did that. Well, you know, Madden did a lot. Madden was responsible for a lot, and I think a lot more than people realize. And because here's the thing. Al Davis, when you read that book and when you look at the accounts of him and his life, he was all about credit. Al wanted the credit for everything. There was only one guy in the entire history of the Raiders organization that Al let get away with getting credit for things. And that was Madden. And, you know, Madden, so his approach to things, Al would have been the first one. I guess what I'm saying is this, is that if it wasn't Madden, Al would have called it out. And there were things between Al and John that Al did get attested to him. And you're going to hear these in some of these clips that weren't Madden, that were Al or that were Madden and that got attributed to Al. But my point is this, though, is that John Madden and the mystique and the imagery of the Raiders, a lot of that is Madden. It's not Al. It actually is John. And so we're going to get, because I really want to drive this one home, man, that, I don't want to wait till it's too late. I don't want to be like the Hall of Fame and induct, that inducts Kenny posthumously.
Posthumously, sure.
I want to, I want to make a big deal about John Madden today on Raiders Fan Radio celebrating his 83rd birthday because, again, I think it gets glossed over his importance to this football team. So let's first hear about what Madden was like and his style in coaching.
John Madden always spelled victory. He never had a losing season, won 100 games faster than anyone, and was Coach of the Year as a rookie.
Let's start off and stay after him the whole game.
John's methods were unorthodox. While everyone else was imposing Lombardi discipline, he scrapped the Raiders' dress code, let his players sit on helmets, and encouraged individual expression.
I didn't have a lot of rules because I saw some of the teams and the rules they had that didn't make any sense, that didn't have anything to do with winning or losing. If you're going to have some rules, you better, just have a few of them, and they better be simple so that they all understand them, and they better follow them. So the 3 rules that I had was, be on time, pay attention, and number 3 was play like hell when I tell you to.
The Raiders unleashed hell for John.
You gonna have any fights this week? Oh man, we gotta have some fights.
Football's boy wonder gave Oakland a bad boy attitude.
Here's a flag. Davidson and Taylor are going at it. There's a big pile up. Here come all the Raiders. Holy Toledo, it's a free-for-all.
People said that, we had renegades, but they were my renegades, so I didn't think they were renegades. I never sat around and said, boy, I got a lot of renegades here. Maybe it's, about your kids or something. Maybe they were my kids and, my kids never smell.
So, Mosh, I want to ask you about something because you brought it up before the show, and I think this kind of dovetails the discussion. We're going to keep on Madden for a while, but I want to bring in some current Raider news. He says clearly there, yeah, we were renegades, but I didn't look at him as renegades. It was just us. His only rules were, he had 3 rules for this football team. It was be on time, pay attention, and play like hell when I tell you to. Anything else wasn't important to him. He encouraged them to be individuals. He encouraged them. This is Madden. This isn't Al. And again, a lot of this stuff gets attributed to Al, but that uniqueness of player, that uniqueness of individual, that celebration of that renegade or that whatever, free spirit, whatever you want to title it, that came from Madden. So let's dovetail into what's going on this week. What's going on with Antonio Brown? What's going on with this Twitter beef? All that would that, if you took Antonio Brown and plunked him in 1976 or took John Madden and put him on a football team today, is this even any kind of a conversation? And how do we as fans, how should we feel about what's going on?
Back in the day when Madden was coaching, he would cut out articles and put them up on bulletin boards. This is what they're saying about us. We're the dirtiest team in the NFL. We're gonna. I remember when we were going up. I can't remember what year it was. We were gonna play Pittsburgh, and somebody on our team, it might have been Tatum, said that they were, that was it. Was it Stallworth that he made the crack about? Yeah. And then Mean Joe Green says,
should be in jail and all that stuff.
You take a shot at him and you got to deal with me. And Madden had that blown up. So it's the same thing. It's the same mentality. Coaches use what they can, because the players are going to say stuff. The players are going to say, they're going to defend themselves. They're going to come out there and do it. They're just doing it by Twitter now. As opposed to talking to somebody from the Mercury News or somebody from the Chronicle or somebody from. So it's the same kind of thing. And I think that
That's a great point. It's just a different medium now
just a different
than what it
medium.
was. And you know what's funny is that everyone wants to rail on AB for the, and being petty and all and whatever. And that's a fair, discussion to be around it. But let's talk in particulars here. AB was calling out Juju Smith-Schuster on social media and making fun of him or whatever, kind of exposing things about him. Juju started this. Juju put a picture of him toe tapping in the end zone with Antonio Brown behind him in the Oakland Coliseum. And I forget what the caption was, but it was like, see you next time or something like that.
Right.
Juju started this whole thing. So look, if anything, Antonio's just following up. He's just retaliating a little bit. But I love that point you just made, and I hadn't thought of that. It's the same stuff that's been going on for a million years.
Yeah.
It's just a different format.
Yeah, exactly. And besides that, our kids don't stink.
That's exactly right.
You know?
Our
Come
kids
on.
don't stink.
I'm all in, and I'm all in with AB, man.
Absolutely. Yeah. I am too. All right, so let's get back to Madden a little bit. So something unique also about John Madden is that when we think about in 1969, when he was hired as the head coach of the team, this is the heyday of the stoic coach, right? This is that Paul Brown and even Noel and Landry and all that.
Landry,
you know what I mean? This is that even Lombardi to a certain extent, that, you know what I mean? That stoic nature, that very reserved, very, whatever. That was not Madden. Madden was screaming, hooting and hollering, cursing at officials all over the place. And he was a completely different type coach on the sideline.
John was a renegade on the sidelines. In an era dominated by stoic, emotionless coaches, he shattered all the unwritten rules for sideline decorum.
I just heard that.
I used to sometimes watch highlights and see myself, and I'd say, geez, I'm not that guy. That's not me. And it was like, I had a walking around me, and I had a coaching me. And they were two different guys, and I don't know that they ever met each other.
I love that, man. I don't know if they ever met each other. You know what's funny is that, and I don't want to make this about us, but were a professional coach for a long, long time. I coached amateur sports, football, baseball, and whatnot for a long, long time. It really does. You become a different person in those moments, don't you? And I think that what's so cool about Madden was that he let himself be that. And because of that genuineness, the players trusted him. The players knew he was genuine, because John also says a lot of times about, I didn't want to be a phony. The player's going to see right through me if I'm phony. And so instead of trying to pass himself off as some, Chuck Noll replica or Vince Lombardi clone, instead he just let it fly, man. He was just himself. And how important is that?
If you have to, because your players, if you're going to get them to run through walls for you, they got to believe in you. And if they don't, they're going to. We went through this. Do I have to say Del Rio's name?
Oh my gosh!
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We went through that.
That's a phony. That's a guy. That's the guy that on camera says one thing in a press conference, whatever, and then and then on the sideline, whatever. But then you get away from it, and then he's a different guy. I'm with you.
Yeah.
No,
that's it. That's it. I mean, you got it. You got to have. I used to always tell my kids, I'm going to, and get your hand on the beep button. I'm going to kick you in the ass, but I'm also going to hug you and tell you I love you, man. And especially when you're coaching adolescents, when you're coaching high school kids who are at that vulnerable age, they may not be getting or may not understand the discipline behind something. I used to tell you when you were just starting out coaching, don't be too cerebral.
Yeah.
Make them understand what you're saying to them. We as coaches always tell our kids, you got to be mentally tough. You got to be mentally tough. Well, it's your job to show them how to be mentally tough. It's your job to say, I'm mad at you because you held back. I love you just the same, but you're gonna stay after and run a long time till I get tired.
Yeah.
But they respect you for it, and they'll do anything for you for it.
That was the best piece of advice I ever got in coaching was from you, and it was a couple years in, and you told me it doesn't matter how much you know about baseball if you can't convey your message to an 8-year-old. It doesn't matter, because if you don't focus on the kid and focus on the message, then all you're doing is trying to show off. And you didn't tell me that. You weren't being hateful about it. You were just saying, look, you can know everything there is to know, but if that kid doesn't get a message, all he hears is you rattling off, big words and big terms, then what does it matter? None of it matters because you're just talking right over them. So it's such a key thing. So let's talk about some of that. Let's listen to John Madden and how he treated his players.
You don't want to yell at your players a lot during the game. They're in there. A guy drops a pass. There's no one that feels worse than the guy that dropped a pass. You don't have to yell at him, hey, catch the ball. That's stupid. I'm not saying that I didn't do some stupid things and yell some stupid things, but you could always yell at the official.
Hey, throw the damn flag!
And even get to your players that way.
Hey, you jerk! You big jerk! You don't call. Ever call one on them?
I love that. Man.
It's so funny because, our regular listeners, people that know me, know what I do. I teach theater arts. And I just directed a huge show and
which was amazing, by the way.
Thank you. And
best one you've ever done.
Thank you, I appreciate that. So after the show, and you came and saw it one night, and you brought the fam. My family, you guys know that after the show, I hide.
Yeah,
I go into the sound booth and I hide. Yeah. I'm not out there for the meet and greet. I don't want people to say, hey, good job.
No, you never hit the stage either,
no,
before or after.
You
don't make an announcement. You don't take a bow. You don't do nothing.
Nope. It's because at that point, I've done all I can do. And if I haven't prepared these people, if I haven't got them ready to go, then and it's a flop, it's on me. And if it's wonderful and it's great and it's terrific and the best thing they've ever, my philosophy is I do a lot of fluff theater, right? I do a lot of musical theater. I do a lot of things that people leave because I want people to leave my show and go eat pie.
Yeah.
I don't want them to be all cerebral and think, oh, what a message.
Well,
I want your $8 and I want you to get out so I can clean up. And you'll come back. Your butts are in the seats. But the reason I hide is because I don't want some fool coming up to me and saying, hey, man, that was the best show I've ever seen, except when that mic cracked in that one song. Because I know the mic cracked. Do you need to tell me that? Do you really? Because I was sitting, because my ass was in the third row from the back, and I saw it. Don't tell me that. I know that. What, do you think I wasn't watching? That's like, and I know what Madden's getting at. Oh yeah. So does somebody go up to somebody like John Madden and go, hey, that was a really good game. We might have won if you didn't throw 9 interceptions and drop 4 fumbles. Really? Yeah. Do you, the armchair quarterback, or you, the armchair director, really need to tell me what went wrong? And people do that all the time. Drives me nuts.
Oh,
anyway, sorry.
Gosh, that's so funny.
I cursed again. I apologize.
That's okay. I made my glasses fog up. Oh, that was funny, Bosh. But it's true, though, man. It's absolutely true. That's great stuff. And the other thing I used to say too is that, and I also learned this from you, is that when you talk about getting the kids prepared, it's like, and I would tell like my other assistant coaches or dads or whatever, don't coach your kid while he's playing. You coach your kid at practice. Yep. You manage him while he's playing. You want to manage a baseball game. You want to change positions, adjust your batting order, do whatever, make your shifts, do all that kind. You do all that stuff in the game, but don't worry about your kid's foot placement, the way he's tucking his arm, the way he's opening up his hips, whatever. And I'm not talking about little kids, but I mean, you got to trust your preparation, and that's such a huge thing. So, all right, let's get on to the next one here. As I touched on at the beginning about Madden's responsibility to the formulation of the Raider mystique, here's kind of hits that subject and talks about whether was he a puppet of Al or was he the one actually calling the shots.
Unable to reconcile his phenomenal success and unconventional methods, some suggested he was a puppet and Al Davis was pulling the strings.
Well, it's an excellent rumor, but unfortunately it isn't true. John Madden coaches our football team.
In 1969, when John was appointed head coach, my role with the Oakland Raiders changed from one of direction. I used to direct the football team, even though I was the owner and not coaching, to one of assistants.
There was no one between Al and I. Al Davis never once turned down anything that I ever wanted. We were the first ones to have mini camps. We were the first to film practice. We were the first to do a lot of things that, now, it sounds like, well, that's normal. That's the way you do
it. Don't you love that? I love the innovation that Madden brought. And you hear things like that, like minicamp. Like minicamp is just so synonymous with the way the NFL is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, John Madden invented minicamp. Like, you never see that in a, you know what I mean?
And people don't realize that.
No.
And they do that everywhere now.
Absolutely.
They do it everywhere.
Absolutely.
In all aspects of the game.
Absolutely. It's so cool. So John Madden, just so responsive. And I love that. There you heard it. Al never told him no. And look, if Al would have, if it were Al's action, Al would have sought credit. That's how Al rolled. So this stuff that you can, these things you can, that often get attributed to Al, we're really, again, going back to it, we're John Madden. All right, last thing. This is, again, one of my favorite things about Coach. And you've heard me mention this on the show before. There were a lot of things about the Raider mystique in the 70s, everything from putting helium in the ball to, writing dirty words on the football to watering down the field to, planting people in the crowd, all these things, and about how the Raiders would never rebut those things, that they let those things manifest and turn into things. And so here we're going to hear John Madden talk about that idea directly.
Tell everyone to stay in the ground and get up slow.
John was always scheming for an advantage and wasn't above using misperceptions of his relationship with Davis to wage psychological warfare on opponents.
We used to be blamed for watering down the field. The Coliseum in Oakland was below sea level, so the field would always be wet. So at first, you want to fight back. No, okay, we don't water down the field below sea level and all that stuff. I'm not baloney. If they want to believe that, just tell them, yeah, we water it down. I told Hank Stram one day, I said, Hank, you'll notice the field's wet. I said, we watered it down. And I told the guys I just wanted like 3 or 4 hours on. They went to lunch, they left it on 8 hours. I'm sorry, it'll never happen again. And then he goes, I know it's not you, John. It's that damn Al. So this is a pretty good deal. I can do whatever I want. I can really be a jerk, and they'll blame Al for it. Another time, we were at a league meeting, and they were complaining about the fans behind the visiting bench. They're wild and they're too close and they need better security. Well, again, they blame Al for that. Like Al handpicked people and put them there. So when I stood up to talk about it, I said, you guys are right. Every game we play, I worry about the visiting team. You guys just getting out of there, just getting out alive. And it is a dangerous situation. And when you come to play there, you have to live with that. Now we'll try. As an organization, we'll try and straighten it out for you, but I can't guarantee anything.
Isn't that the best?
Oh my gosh, that's
best.
so funny.
It's the psychological warfare of the sport. It's the game within the game. And that's what the Raiders of the 70s and all this Raider mystique that we all celebrate, that's what all this stuff came from, man, were those concepts early on that Madden developed. And of course, in conjunction with Al. And I just love it, man. And so I hope that you guys enjoyed kind of celebrating Coach a little bit. I think we could use to do it a little bit more often. And not only just remember him for the broadcaster that he was, and of course the game creator and all that whatnot, but as a Raiders head coach, man, so significant in relevance to the league history, and then especially, of course, our team. All right, so Mosh, you want to hit a break there, and then we'll jump into the uniforms.
You're listening to The Violator, and I'm live on Raider Fan Radio. Where you at, baby?
All right, let's hit one more quick segment here before we jump into Actually, no, we got 2 more segments for you. We got one more. We'll make this one, though, kind of quick. And a poll came out this last week. Speaking of Raiders and Raiders history, a poll came out, Mosh. This was from the USA Today. And this was one of their rankings polls where they had the all-time greatest uniforms, the best all-time uniforms in the NFL. And you want to tell us who adorns the top of that list there?
Well, let's start from the bottom.
Okay, let's start from the bottom.
Of course, we'll talk about the people that didn't make it: the Packers, the Vikings, the Bears, the 49ers, the Texans, the Giants, the Bills, the Patriots, the Broncos, the Buccaneers, Bengals, Panthers, Titans, Jets, Falcons, Lions, Ravens, Dolphins, Jaguars, Cardinals, Browns, and the Redskins. And those that did make it, in the number 10 spot, the Colts.
Very classic. It's a classic uniform.
It's a classic uniform.
Yeah,
I like the horseshoe.
I give them that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
The Chiefs. The Chiefs are on there.
They just look like McDonald's uniforms.
They just look like Mickey D's. And then again, another classic uniform. I'll give it to them. It's probably the only thing I like about them, the Cowboys.
Yeah, I got to give that to them. They do have a very classic, very clean uniform.
Very old school.
Yeah. Hate them, but good uniform.
And then that whole mid-range, number 7, that whole mid-range uniform, not the old classic like we were talking about with the horseshoe, but the Eagles. I like that eagle, the older one.
Yes.
The eagle. That was kind of cool.
That was kind of cool.
And then in number 6, and I really liked their old uniform back when they were in LA the first time, when Roman Gabriel and Jack Snow were throwing and catching, and that was the Rams. They used to have with the horn that went around the side. That was kind of cool.
It was kind of, you know what though? This is funny. You and I don't disagree on a lot of stuff.
We disagree on that one. You don't like that one?
I'd put that one maybe 32.
You know why?
I don't care for that Rams uniform. I never have.
But our high school,
with the Willow Glen Rams,
we were the Willow Glen Rams.
Right, but there's no red and gold.
So that was kind of our affiliation
true.
there.
That's a good point.
And so it was kind of a heart tug
That's
thing
true.
there.
Absolutely. That's a good point.
This one I'm not a big fan of. Never liked.
That's funny.
Because you are.
I do like this one.
And I don't like number 5, the Saints.
The Saints are great. The only other team that can rock black, I think, effectively and look as close to as good as the Raiders.
All right.
Yeah.
And then this one, I don't know how the heck this got
This
on.
is awful. This might be 31.
And I think it got it because of it. Had they never won that Super Bowl, back then they would have never. But the Seahawks, the upper West Coast had to have somebody to rally behind. When the Trailblazers were kind of dying off there, and so they got behind the Seahawks. But I don't like their logo. I just don't. I
don't like anything about it. That entire division is terrible in terms of uniforms. All right, here we go. Top 3.
Top 3. Number 3, Chargers.
I'll give them the idea. I'll give them the classic, but I'm not. I mean, I don't like them because they're the Chargers because it just rings ill with me, anyways.
Right.
But I get the idea. I get why they're on here. The ones that I do have respect for. Again, I'm not gonna say I like them, but when they do the white helmet with the bolt and the number in there, and then the baby blue or powder blue uniforms, those ones I'll give. Like that's a very classic, like the Lance Allworth kind of looking that Charger uniform. I'll kind of give them that.
I'm just not I'm not a big fan of gold on a uniform.
I'm with you on that.
I just don't like it because it gets.
Well, and that's why I didn't like the Rams because they used to be the blue and yellow.
Right.
When I was a kid, it was the blue and yellow, and that's what I'm like.
No, it was blue and white when I was a kid.
Yeah. Okay.
And then speaking of yellow, the Steelers.
The Steelers are number 2.
Steelers are number 2, but it's apropos because they're number 2 to us. Number 1.
Number 1. Raiders
best
all
time.
Absolutely, and it should be that way. The Raiders should be number 1, and Mosh, we don't have a secondary logo because we don't need a secondary logo. There's been minor changes to the Raiders uniform over the years, some minor font changes to the nameplates on the back. There was, of course, the change to the Raider logo itself, back in the, I don't even know when it was, early 70s. No, it wasn't even that. It was the late 60s. But very few tweaks to the uniform over the years, and because it just doesn't need them.
And, and here's a guy who never played in Oakland, but he sported the Raiders uniform, which never changed.
Hey, this is Pete Koch, former Los Angeles Raider. Yeah, back in the old days, baby. And you're listening to Murph and Uncle Mosh, who happens to have the same hair is me. Check it out.
Oh, wait, here we go. There you go,
Radio.
Mosh. Here we go. Shake it out. There you go. Uncle Mosh, this is Pete Koch's hair. Pete Koch's hair is getting real long now, too.
We're in a race.
He's got it. It's down to the shoulders there, but you guys are rocking.
Is that at his shoulders?
It's at his shoulders. It's getting pretty long.
I got peaked by 25 years. So.
You guys both got the silver mane rocking there. Looking good. Looking good. All right, let's shout out the chat one more time. Appreciate everybody joining us here on the live stream. Jesse Rosales, FRNK, RMDR, Dutch NL, Raider Critique is in there, Aaron the Q-Dog Raider, Irish Raider, let's see who else, Abel is in there, who am I missing? I can't scroll up. Dakota Raider, I appreciate you all very much joining us here in Murph's Fan Cave for this episode of Raiders Fan Radio. Okay, Uncle Mosh, at the risk of numbers, you know me, well, and you too. We love numbers. We love numbers. We hate math, but we love numbers. All right, so one of the I'm going to say it. One of the all-time greatest Raiders retired just this last week. I'm talking about number 9. I'm talking about Shane Leckler, our punter from 2000 to 2012, the years that he wore Raider uniform. Yes, I'm calling him one of the all-time greatest Raiders, and I'm going to tell you why. So first, he was part of a couple very memorable plays. Both of these actually happened in the year 2011, which is interesting. So I'm going to play the audio of those. The first one was, I don't know if you remember this, but in week 12 of 2011, he had an 80-yard punt, okay?
Jeez.
An 80-yard punt, standing on our own 10-yard line, and this is what it sounded like.
Leckler punting from his own 10-yard line. What a kick. Came into this game with the best punting average in the league, and this one will bounce into the end zone. That is an 80-yard punt.
That looks like a Jubbs machine.
New franchise record, guys. Franchise record, 80-yard punt by Leckler.
All right, there you go. So 80-yard punt by Leckler, which is amazing, and it was a franchise record. So put a pin in that idea that was a franchise record. But earlier in that year, in week 6, he threw a touchdown pass on a fake kick. And it's funny, Mosh, when he retired, I put up a post on our Facebook, and I put congratulations in retirement to the greatest quarterback, or one of the greatest quarterbacks in Raider history. And he also kicked a little bit too. There was a few hundred of you that got the joke. There was a couple of people that were like, "Hey man, he was a punter." Yeah, thanks. It's a joke. Come on, easy, folks. You know what I mean?
They're probably thinking, wait, did Blanda come out of retirement and then go back into retirement?
Yeah. So it was pretty funny. Some people didn't quite get the joke, but, bless your hearts. All right, but let's listen to that touchdown pass.
This will be a 53-yard attempt for Janikowski. Made a 48-yarder moments ago going towards the black hole south uprights. He is 5 for 6 this year on 50-yarders. This one's from the left hash mark. They're going to fake it. Leckler throws wide open. Kevin Boss, 20, 10, 5, touchdown! Raiders! Shane Leckler on a fake field goal throws a touchdown pass. What a play!
Wow. You talk about living on the edge. Hugh Jackson really does like to live on the edge. He's throwing all the gimmicks out. Every one of them.
I'm not sure Al Davis would have called it, but he certainly liked the result.
Absolutely.
Shane Leckler, who is the Raiders' backup quarterback, they faked the field goal. Shane, a great high school quarterback in Sealy High School, put it down, then picked it up, and Kevin Bostom, the right wing, the big tight end, was wide open.
All right, there we go. Great to hear Greg Papa on the call. Right, that was cool. But yeah, Leckler, man, throwing that touchdown pass to Kevin Boss, man, that was pretty cool. All right, so here's Mosh. Here's where I might strip a little bit of controversy. I'm hoping to, because I think it's an awesome conversation to have. We as Raider fans have a lot of pride in our special teams players. We have a lot of pride in Sebastian Janikowski. We have a lot of pride in of course, George Blanda, as you mentioned earlier. Of course, Ray Guy, Hall of Famer, the only punter in the Pro Football Hall of Fame is Ray Guy. Ray Guy is not the best punter we've ever had. Shane Leckler is the best punter we've ever had. I think Shane Leckler, although Ray Guy had to wait many, many years because he's a punter to get into the Hall of Fame, I don't think Leckler's going to wait that long. I don't necessarily think he's going to be a first ballot guy because he's still a punter, but he is a Hall of Famer. This is going to be the second Hall of Famer that's a punter, and they're both been Raiders. So here's why I say this. So when we look at, I'm not even accounting just for his Texans history. Of course, we know that Shane went to the Texans in 2013 up until this last year when he retired. And you're shooting me a look like you're waiting. You're like, all right, what do you got to say on this one, Murph? You're talking about Ray Guy here. I know, and it's hallowed ground, but listen, but hear me out on this. Okay, so both players played in very similar in terms of season. So hold on, I gotta get the camera over there. This is what we call in our family cutting eyes. So Mosh is over here and he's looking at me. He's cutting eyes at me like, what are you getting ready to say? All right, so so Ray Guy played 14 seasons for the Raiders, okay? And and Shane Leckler had 13 seasons with the Raiders. Ray Guy went to 7 Pro Bowls. Leckler went to 7 Pro Bowls. Ray Guy was 3 times first team All-Pro. Leckler was 4 times first team All-Pro. So we're pretty much on par so far. Games, Ray Guy played in 207. Shane Leckler played in 206 because even though Guy had the extra year, they played less games back then. They only played the 14 games. So they're on par. All right. Similar in terms of total punts. Ray Guy had 1,049. Leckler had 1,014. So we're pretty much on par with one another until we get to some big ones. Okay. So the all-time longest punt in Ray Guy's history as a Raider was 77 yards. Leckler's was 80. So Leckler has the all-time longest kick in Raiders history, beating Ray Guy. Okay. All-time total yards. Ray Guy has 44,000. Shane Leckler has 48,000. Again, this is just Raider numbers. That's not even counting Leckler's other stuff as a Texan. So Leckler has 4,000 more yards, okay? And then now here we get to yards per punt, which is the big number everyone likes to focus on. Ray Guy's best year was in 1973, his rookie year. His average yards per kick was 45.3. Leckler's was, and his best year was in 2009. It was 51.1. He had almost 6 points or 6 yards more on average. And then the last one, you look at career punts, Ray Guy had his average career kick was 42.4 yards. Shane Leckler, as a Raider, was 47.5. Shane Leckler was a better kicker and better punter than Ray Guy, and Ray Guy is the first one to go into the Hall of Fame. I'm telling you, Raider Nation, Shane Leckler may not be first ballot, but he'll be second or third year. This guy's going in the freaking Hall of Fame, and he better go in as a Raider. Mosh, what do you think?
I think a lot. I think I don't think much for your argument, but I think a lot. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
So there are some things that are different now from when Leckler played versus when Guy played.
Okay.
When Guy was playing, the term hang time was everything. So the term hang time. Now, fair. You want to look up your numbers, let's look up hang time, because that's where Ray Guy became Ray Guy.
That's very true.
They used calendars to chart his hang time, okay? The guy would kick the ball, 3 days later, it's coming down.
Yeah.
You know, okay.
That's a great point.
I don't know what Leckler's hang time was. Also, you're talking about a completely different type of game, okay? When it would be like me trying to say that some quarterback who comes in who's not in the elite, the top 10, but he's decent and throws up the same kind of numbers that somebody like Marino had, but in that time it was not the passer's game. When Marino, what if, and you and I have had this conversation.
Oh, yeah.
What if Marino was playing today?
Oh, he'd throw for 6,000 yards.
In a minute.
Yeah.
So you have to take those two things. Now, just on his merit, I say Hall of Fame all the way. But to say better than Ray Guy, I'm not convinced.
Okay, I think that's fair. You make a strong argument, Mosh, and I'll even make one against myself, because as I'm reading through these things, I tried to think outside the box and think of other things that would influence this. And there is one other thing that Shane Lechler had going for him that Ray Guy never did. And
helium?
No, Sebastian Janikowski.
Absolutely.
So Sebastian Janikowski is attempting very long field goals where Ray Guy didn't have the luxury of someone that could kick a 55-yarder on the regular.
Right.
So he's going instead out there to punt on a shorter field. So Lechler is punting. You follow me, Raider Nation? Like Lechler is his punts. He's not punting inside his opponent's 50 very often, because Janikowski, if you can make it to the shield, Janikowski's going to kick it. So Lechler typically had more field to work with than what Guy did. So that's Guy, I think, worth considering.
Sure, and he had accuracy. I mean, terms, again, hang time, coffin corner.
Yeah.
You know, those were things that came into play.
Absolutely. Great stuff, Mosh. Great arguments there. And, either way, I know we could definitely all agree that Lechler is going to be a Hall of Famer, and hopefully that he goes in as an Oakland Raider.
Hey, everybody. This is Johnny Spencer from the punk rock band Stringer, and you're listening to Raiders Fan Radio with Murph and Uncle Mosh. Go Raiders, baby.
You know what time it is?
Time to get to some fans, man. Let's get to the sea of fans, Mosh.
We've been neglecting them.
I know. We've had a long show. We had so much to get to. So what happens when we take off, man? We got a lot to get to. So why don't we do this? Why don't I shut up? I don't have it on the rundown there, Mosh, but you do have 2 emails. You want to go ahead and read those?
I only see one over here.
You should have one from Haley and one from Paul.
I got Paul's, but I don't have Haley's.
All right, let me go. Haley's might be on the printer, so let me give it over to you, and I'll go find it.
All right, so you know what time it is. It's time for...
There he is, fading, looking. He's under the gun. He's caught, he's thrown. It is.
Nice. So it's time to go over the pond.
Let's go over the pond.
So Haley from Scotland writes in, just listening to the show while working Saturday morning overtime. No, excuse me. Nice.
Did you do shotgun a Coors?
Actually, I really did. Just listening to the show while working Saturday morning overtime. Nice to have Uncle Mosh back. Thank you, Haley. Thanks for helping me get through the shift with Raiders Chat. How many Sundays to go? I love it.
Nice.
I don't know that, but I know I only have 5 more Mondays in the school year.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, there you go.
Thanks, Haley. Keep the letters coming. All right. And our buddy, Paul Egerton from Shropshire, Mississippi, writes, a few things have happened since we last saw you. One of the biggest things that Shane Lechler has retired. Perfect timing.
Wow, good job, Paul.
Yeah. We all want perfection from our players, which is a rarity, so consistency and reliability have to be the cornerstones of our aspirations. Shane Lechler was that man for 12 years, and alongside Seabass, we knew exactly what we were getting from him every time he stepped onto the field. So true. Kickers and punters are much maligned. They're not sexy highlighted reel positions, and nobody really notices them until you have a 50-yard field goal with 2 seconds on the clock, or you need your punter to drop the ball on the opposition's 1-yard line inside the 2-minute warning. So true. Recently, Paul goes on to say, I sent you my all-time Raider team made up of players that I've seen in my time as part of Raider Nation, and Shane was one of the first players on my team sheet. Consistency and reliability, 100%. Look how hard it's been replacing him. We're currently stuck with Johnny No Hamstrings Townsend. I rest my case. Okay, I feel like shouting, come back, Shane, as Alan Ladd rides off into the sunset. There's one for you kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on, man. I love it. A clear case of you don't know what you've got till it's gone. Thank you, Shane, and see you at the draft. Elsewhere, we've continued to add quality and depth to the roster, especially at wide receiver, and we've also added 2 guys from the AAF. We didn't really touch on the AAF. We might need to.
No, we need to.
I hate
yeah,
that.
Yeah.
The media are in a frenzy at the minute as they don't know what we're doing. We will trade up or down. Will they stay or will they go? Please draft a QB so we can fill some more airtime through the summer, and we're letting them get on with it. It's great. The draft is nearly here, and I'm hoping to join you guys in the chat room on that day, and because it'll only be 6 p.m. over here, so I'm looking forward to it, guys. Thanks forever. Thanks, as always, forever, your work and your passion. Love you, Raider Nation. Regards, Paul Egerton from Shropshire, Mississippi. Proud made man and one-time winner of the Raiders Fan Radio Sizzler Award.
Sizzler. Thank you, Paul.
Sizzler. Appreciate
the email, Paul, as always. And if you want to join us here on the show by emailing us, you can email us at show@RaidersFanRadio.com. Or if you want to call the show, you can call us at 909-345-3346. Leave us a message, and if we play your message 3 times, you become a made man. And then that's what our shirt is in reference to, which is Get Made, which we're going to have these at the draft. We're going to have these Get Made shirts, and then our website is up and running. Don't kill us with a bunch of orders because we're still waiting on some final deliveries, but everything is active on there. So be ready to hook up the Get Made shirt and then match it up, of course, with a new draft hat you can buy through our link and go to NFLshop.com. All right, Mosh, you touched on the AAF. I think is important. I want to tag that a little bit. I talked to our becoming very good friend of the show, William Parker, Councilman Parker from Birmingham. He was one of the ones, one of the players that was key in securing the Birmingham Iron to the city, and was highly involved in that and the just kind of the development and recruitment of the football team and whatnot. So I reached out to him and I just kind of said, I'm sorry to hear the news and, and whatnot. And so he called yesterday.
Oh, he did?
Yeah,
Okay.
he ended up calling yesterday and we talked, and he's going to be at our draft, at our live stream for the draft. So we'll have Councilman Parker will be there. And this is what they call a teaser in the biz, Mosh.
Okay, let's hear it.
He's got an announcement for us. And he's got an announcement that you guys are going to think is really cool. I think it's freaking awesome. I can't wait because we're going to get to be a part of it. He's got an announcement, and he wants to do it. He wants to wait and do it live at our live stream. Make that announcement on Saturday of the draft on the 27th. So when those of you that are joining us on the live stream, you'll get to hear what that announcement is. Yeah,
nice.
Pretty cool stuff. But yeah, pretty sad that the league kind of folded the way that it did.
Man, I felt bad for those guys, man. They put out a good product, dude.
It really did.
When he opened up the city of Birmingham to us, and we went down there, and I mean, they treated us like kings, and they had unfortunately, they lost that day, their first loss.
Yeah.
But it was good football.
It was good football,
man.
It was good football. It was a lot of fun. And, Mosh, when we're talking about, startup leagues, I think one Vincent K. McMahon is smiling when that thing folded up, wasn't it? So I think that's going to be interesting to see what the XFL now does with the opened up with the hole now in spring football with the departure of the AAF. All right, let's go to let's get into the Sea of Fans, man. Let's hear some voicemails. First up, we're going to hear from our buddy Running Bear in Tulare, California.
Wait, we're not going to hear from Capo?
Running Bear from Tulare.
No, I'm sorry. No, we don't have a call from Capo this week. I had a call from Capo last week, but we didn't do a show. And so Capo's in the chat there. Aaron, if I missed a call from you, I apologize, my friend. But I don't have a call from him this week. But you know what, though? Let me say this. Let me brag on Capo for a second. Capo's going to be in town on Thursday and for the draft. Not this Thursday, but the Thursday of the draft. And he's going to hang with us for the entirety of the draft.
No kidding.
He's going to be a part of everything Raiders Fan Radio is going to be doing through the course of those 3 days. Capo will be with us.
We'll give him this week off.
So we'll give him this week off because you're going to, as much as you're going to hear from us, you're going to hear from him at the draft, which is going to be awesome. Aaron is, speaking of folks that become great friends of ours on and off the show. So look forward to catching up quite a bit with Aaron. So, all right, let's hear from our buddy Running Bear.
California. Hey, Uncle Mosh. Hey, Murph. It's been a while since I called. Had some health issues. Capo and Q-Dog Capo and all the other made men and all the other people in Raider Nation, been a while, but let's get it going. After I watched what we did in the free agency part, I like it and I don't. There's good and bad. But what I want to say is, whatever happened before they became a Raider, Doesn't matter. They're a Raider now, and we're going to get behind them. Now, what it did made me thinking about the draft coming up. And this is my first thought of what will happen the first and second round. I really think what we're going to have happen with our fourth pick, we're going to trade with the Giants, getting their number 6 and number 17. So on number 6, we'll pick Montez Sweat from Mississippi State, edge rusher. He just was a monster at the Senior Bowl. And then for the number 17 pick, we'll get DK Metcalf, Ole Miss wide receiver. I know we got a lot of wide receivers in our group right now, but we just can't pass up with someone like this. At 24, we'll pick up Josh Jacobs, Alabama running back, and he'll start setting our tone in the running back room. 27, we'll pick up Noah Fant, Iowa tight end. Looks like he could be a really good add-on for Derek Carr. And last, at number 35, I think we'll pick up Zach Allen from Boston College, another defensive edge. With this, we'll set up our edge. We'll fill in the holes on on our offense, tight end and running back exclusively. Metcalf's kind of like an extra little plus. And I think with what we got in free agency the last few days, we've kind of tied up our linebacker core enough to be okay. And I think this will set up our pressure really well with these two young rookie edge rushers. And then with throwing Metcalf out there with AB, can you imagine AB Metcalf? I mean, that's just going to be awesome. Then you throw out tight end Noah Fant, we're going to have one hell of an offense if this occurs. And more importantly, I'm just glad to be able to talk to you guys again, and I hope all Raider Nation is doing well. You have a great day. Go Raiders!
Awesome. Great job, Running Bear. Great to hear from you, my man. Glad you're feeling better. And, yeah, keep the calls coming. Always good to hear from you. So a couple things there. Number one, if we draft anybody named Allen that plays the edge, I'll be happy, whether that's Zach or Josh.
Absolutely.
I think Zach Allen is a great choice there late. He talked about DK Metcalf. I think, I don't know. I'm a little, I don't want to say I'm sketchy on him as a player, but the guys that are the combine stars, I'm a little leery of at times. But I think it's interesting what the Raiders have done at wide receiver. We've brought in a lot of guys now to play wide out, and also still we have a lot of guys on the roster. And here's an opportunity to self-promote, including Rashard Davis, who is a slot receiver
right.
At a James Madison University. Mosh, I was going to play that interview on today's episode. That interview being the interview that I had with Rashard Davis last week. But being that we're kind of running long already tonight, I'll save it and I'll release it separately as an RFR conversation. But we caught up with Rashard Davis this last week. Super cool guy.
Okay,
real young. He's like 23 years old.
That was, and we're up against the time, so I think that's good. I let out a little bit of a tease earlier.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. Somebody was going, when's the next player going to be on there? So that's okay. You'll let that out as a standalone interview, which will be fine.
Yeah, we'll do that as a standalone, and I'll do that probably tonight or tomorrow, so it'll be on the heels on your feed there. Just subscribe to us or subscribe to us on the YouTube or the audio only, and you'll get that in your feed. All right, let's go next up to Seaport, new caller, Uncle Mosh, Seaport Raider.
Murph, Uncle Mosh, Seaport Raider here, man. I was just wanted to call in for my first time. First, I will say that you guys do a great show. Been listening to y'all for over a year and a half now. My first time calling in. I know y'all probably listened to us for over a year and a half, and it's your first time calling in. But this show proves that we got the best fan base in the world. Because every time I get a topic or a question or something that I want to call in and talk about or something like that, something good, I listen to the show when somebody else already said it. So I'm like, dang, I got nothing. But I still just wanted to call in and introduce myself because you guys got that event going on in Nashville later on this month. And I don't want to just show up and not introduce myself first. But, yeah, you guys do a great show. I enjoy listening to it every middle of the week, every week. Keep up the great work. Go Raiders.
Awesome. We'll look forward to meeting you in person, Seaport Raider.
For the props, bro.
Absolutely, man. That was very cool, man. That's cool. You know, Mosh, the idea that we're part of folks' week and their daily, their commutes, their workouts, their yoga, I tell you, it's incredibly flattering, man. It's just, y'all are too kind, and thank you very much, and look forward to meeting you in person. All right, let's see. Next up, we're going to hear from our buddy, a made man in Arkansas, and listen to our buddy James.
Hey guys, this is James in Arkansas. I'm loving life right now because I'm so hyped, so excited because defense will be better because Chucky is new, solid people, and Carr had the best year last year, 4,000 yards. He had no one to throw it too. Honestly, a fan of Carr, and I love Chucky, and everything is shaping up good. I'm hearing and bullshit about really, really negative things and shit like that on Facebook and YouTube and all that bull. I'm really excited. To everyone else, worry about your shit. And I think Chucky is looking next year. I don't know if next year will be championship or whatever, but next year, I think winning year, 9 or 10, maybe 12 wins. And it feels good to be excited and feels good to be sober and clean. I'm loving life, but later.
All right, good job, James. Good job on your sobriety. We congratulate you on that first and foremost.
Good job on holding the record for beeps in one call.
Absolutely. You know, it's funny. So he brought up something interesting, Mosh. He brought up kind of the gripes and the negativity and the things that can be on social media. And look, it doesn't matter what you do, where you go, regardless of the topic, there's, negativity. Everyone's got an opinion and people disagree and things turn into one thing. But I think that I want to soapbox it for a half a second. Okay. We rally against big media a lot on our show.
Yep.
Because of the negativity that they portray. Okay. Well, all of those comments that we have were confirmed, at least those opinions and those ideas that we had were confirmed this week, not by a Raider, but by a pretty prominent quarterback in the league. And I'm talking about Aaron Rodgers. And I'm going to play you. I know you haven't heard this, Mosh, because you've been busy, but I'm going to play you. This is what we talk about a lot when we talk about different websites and stories they promote and reasons they do things and whatever. So I know I'm playing a Packer quarterback's quotes here, but I want you to think about the way the Raiders are portrayed in the media when you hear what he has to say, and maybe this will kind of help you come to a resolution of what these folks are actually trying to do.
The thing is about this article, it's not a mystery. This was a smear attack by a writer looking to advance his career, talking with mostly irrelevant, bitter players who all have an agenda, whether they're advancing their own careers or just trying to stir old stuff up. The crazy thing is there's super slanted opinions in that piece stated as fact. And then there's quote-unquote facts, which are just outright lies. If I really dislike Mike that much, why would I re-sign? This idea that I had this grudge against him for years is absolutely ridiculous. It's just not true. I mean, where was that grudge in 10 when we won the Super Bowl? Where was that grudge when we won 19 games in a row? Because I will tell you this about Mike, and if you look at the comments I've made about him over the years, I love Mike McCarthy. Mike has been a huge part of my success and my career. And I've had some amazing moments on and off the field with Mike. We have had issues, no doubt about it. Any long relationship has issues. But the way that we dealt with those issues, Mike and I, was face-to-face.
Wow. How about that? Tell me what you think, Mosh, in terms of how that, when the Raiders are portrayed and the way that the Raiders' relationships in the building are portrayed, how does comments like that make you feel about that kind of stuff, or think about that stuff?
It goes without saying, gosh, and I hate to keep equating everything to what I just finished up, but I was telling my kids the other day, they were a team, they were an ensemble, they were 49 people that just went through an 11-week rehearsal process where they were actually spending more time together than they were with their families if you take out sleep. I'd have these kids for rehearsals 5 hours after school, and they'd go home, they'd do their homework, they'd say hi to their mom, they'd eat some dinner. And so the actual contact was with me and the other people around them. They don't all like each other, but they all work together. Some of them became great friends. Some of them had tiffs. But when you look at football players who do what I do to the 10th degree, when they're spending, oh my gosh, mini camp, spring training, They're spending hours and hours on the field busting each other's heads and then going into the rooms and studying at night. There's gonna be issues, but you got a job to do. You're gonna work together, and you just like he said, you air it out face to face. Your son says, if you got to go 30, you go 30.
Yeah,
you punch each other, then you go back to studying the playbook. You move on. You get over it, and that's what the true pros do. It's the non-pros that write about the true pros that screw it all up for the rest of us that just want to hear about it. We want scandal,
Absolutely.
Who was it? Huey Lewis in the News that did that song. Put the widow on. Is the head dead yet?
I don't know.
You remember that? There was I can't remember what it was.
Okay.
We can't play it because of YouTube. But it's like people want dirty laundry.
Right.
It's come on.
Oh, well, dirty laundry. That's Don Henley.
Don Henley.
There you go. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. All right. But I think it's, so going all the way back full circle to the idea of the stuff that gets thrown out there on Facebook, a lot of that times it's fueled by articles, and you just heard it from Aaron Rodgers. You heard it from a walking Hall of Famer.
Absolutely.
There's flat out lies and mistruths in these things. And look, Aaron Rodgers is on a radio show talking to the world, telling you the truth. Like, I choose to believe him before I believe a blogger, before I believe Bleacher Report or Mike Silver or whoever else. You know what I mean? So think about the guys in terms of Raider Nation that float this stuff. It's always a consistent, peanut gallery. It's Tim Kawakami. It's Mike Florio. It's Silver. It's all these guys, and they're the ones that are responsible for all of these nonsense stories. So from now on, and look, like we did with the thing with Derek Carr last week, where it was like, all right, we're not talking about Carr getting traded anymore. This thing's over. This is the last day Murph rails against these guys, because I feel like I'm a broken record. I don't want to bore you by saying the same thing every week. But look, I'm just going to tell you this, Raider Nation. I love the interaction that we have with you all, but don't send me Mike Silver stories. Don't tweet me Mike Florio. Don't tweet me Pro Football Talk. I don't care. I don't read it. I'm just going to ignore it. I'm going to move on to something else because these guys are absolute morons and they're all working off of an agenda. All right, let's go to another call and hear from our buddy Hardcore Raider in Colorado.
What's up, Mosh, Murph, Q-Dog, Raider Nation, everybody, what's going on? Good to have Uncle Mosh back. Much love to everybody, especially Q-Dog the Capo. I'm going to call him Q the Cap Dog. What do you guys think about that? I think that sounds pretty cool. But, Q, I think the hit list has been fading a little bit. So, I got some breaking news I want to send your way, brother. All right, breaking news just in. Looks like the Raiders are finally going to make everybody's wishes come true, and we're getting rid of Derek Carr. We're going to trade Derek Carr for Johnny Manziel to the AAF, to the Memphis team. We got to give up all three first-round draft picks, and you know what? Believe it, baby, 40 Chucky heads. That's right, 40 Chucky heads. People are talking. All right, number 2 on the hit list. All right, this one is dedicated 3 years to the Raiders' move and the lawsuit and the stadium delays. His godsister is Mayor Libby Schaff, and he's known her for 32 years. Mayor Libby Schaff is his number 1 of 3 supporters for his blog site. He has dedicated this amount of time to the Raiders and putting out hate, and he concocted a plan with Mayor Libby Schaff in 2015 to try to catch Mark Davis red-handed, that Mark Davis was working behind the city of Oakland's back. However, if you go to that video, the evidence proves otherwise. Also, this candidate was an urban planner and computer programmer. I repeat, urban planner and computer programmer. Okay? Urban planning is someone who might get paid to do a development plan. Like, say, if, the Oakland Stadium was torn down and they needed someone of what they might build on the land, or
Mikey's
what they might
rubbing
do
his hands all these conspiracy theories right now.
This person is a blogger, but reports like a journalist.
This cat drank more bourbon than me.
Journalists has credentials and are held accountable for what they report, and they are responsible for what they report. A blogger responds to journalists' reports, but bloggers have no accountability. However, this blogger is reporting like a journalist or reporting fake news as if he is a journalist, but he's only a blogger.
There it is.
He's been getting paid for fake news and propaganda to demoralize our Raiders. This blogger has been hating on the Raiders for a long time, and then goes to the owners' meeting and acts like John Gruden doesn't know the hate he's been putting out for a Cowboys fan, or even worse, the face that they put on the donkey helmet, Shannon Sharp himself, donkey lover.
Google Voice has
Mosh, you got to keep them under 3 minutes.
Keep him under 3 minutes.
gotta-
And I love the rant.
I love the
You
rant.
know, the only thing he missed out was throwing some numbers in there for you.
Well, good news, he called back.
Murph is Hardcore Raider calling from Donkeyville. Just wanted to finish that up. At least with these guys who know where their loyalty is and what to expect.
He almost got Google voiced again.
I'm
gonna skip a little bit.
Has a YouTube channel named Cowboy Nation, and I lost it. I'm like, Cowboy Nation? Are you kidding me? It's just gotten to the point where it's out of hand. I turned on my Xbox and I see Madden 19. I see Steeler Nation on one of the banners on the damn video game.
Really?
You don't see the Raiders going
true.
around saying we're America's team. You don't see the Seahawks going around calling them Seahawk Nation. You don't see the Cowboys saying we're the 12th man. None of that makes sense. It's all stupid. It's Raider Nation. Anybody else saying that, I don't know. It's fraud. That's exactly what it is. People trying to steal our slogans. Someone said something about the jerseys. I would love to see a gray jersey with black lettering for like a Color Rush Thursday night game. So what do you guys think of that?
All right, appreciate the phone calls there, Hardcore Raider. So I want to touch on something that he said there, Mosh, about the teams. Look, and it's not just other football teams. There's a lot of sports teams that have tried to adopt the nation. Look,
right.
There's a reason this draft hat has an American flag behind it. The reason we got the Stars and Stripes is because it's Raider Nation. It's synonymous. And look, that's who we are. Our last year's draft hats, it even spelled it out. It even said Raider Nation on it. So the idea that other teams are trying to steal it, I can't stand it either. I'm with you, but it's something that we got to deal with. But I'm going to do you one. I'm going to say one better, but another example, Mosh, check this out. I was watching NFL Films, their NFL Presents weekly show. This is like a month or so ago. I was catching up on some old ones. They did a feature on this couple that live in Cincinnati and go to all the Bengal games. And you know what they bring with them to the Bengal games?
Raider gear.
Bengal Chucky.
Bengal Chucky?
It's a Chucky doll.
What is that?
It's a Chucky doll, but it's all in Bengals gear. And they travel with him to not only to the games in Cincinnati, but they travel abroad and go see the Bengals on the road and take pictures with Bengal Chucky. Well, hold on. Let me get to your camera. Yeah, that look right there on your face. Like, I know. Like, I'm like, that's
the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
That's the dumbest thing. Like, Chucky is our guy. That's our coach. Like, there's not, like, I don't even know what to say. Like, it's just so stupid. I'm like, really? You can't find your own thing? Or like when you see like, the Packer Stormtrooper, you know what I mean? Or you see like, or the Darth Vader that's dressed up in like, and painted Broncos colors or something. Like, what are you doing, man? Like, that's our stuff. You know what I mean?
There are some out there. The cheeseheads.
Sure, and that's fine. You don't see us running around with silver and black cheese heads.
No, and that guy, God rest his soul, I know he passed a few years ago, but the guy at the Broncos games
the
back
barrel
in the
guy.
70s with the barrel.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you don't see a Raiders barrel guy.
You got your own stuff. Get your own stuff. You know? Don't touch my stuff. You know?
I was just going to say, one of my favorite things you say is what?
Don't touch my stuff. You touch my stuff, I kill you. Don't touch my stuff. It's my stuff. It's not our stuff. It's not your stuff. It's my stuff. Don't touch my stuff.
And Raider Nation,
it applies to our stuff. Don't touch our stuff. Pisses me off. Bengals.
So
look where they live.
Bengal Chucky. Isn't that the dumbest thing?
You know, can I just say this?
Please.
I want to back up just a hot second.
Hey, we're already over. We'll just shoot it. We're going to be off next week.
Okay, I got to go to Hardcore Raiders defense. Okay. Just for a hot second.
Okay.
Just for a hot second.
Okay.
He went on and on and on, and he got Googled, and he almost got Googled a second time. Look, He lives in Donkeyland.
Yeah.
We're the only people he has.
That's true.
That's true. This poor guy.
Yeah.
Because you and I both lived in Donkeyland.
Yeah.
We know how stupid and how rabid those fans are.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Poor guy. We
Call
feel
us
ya.
back.
Call us
Ray.
back, Hardcore Raider.
Hardcore, come on.
Yeah, yeah. Good job calling us, and great topic of conversation for sure. All right, so we're gonna next up we're gonna hear from our buddy Raider Ramon. This is another first-time caller, and I know this is a buddy of Q-Dog's, and Q-Dog's been giving him a hard time for a long time, saying, dude, you're one of the biggest Raider fans I know. You've never called the show. What's the matter with you? He's been telling this for months, and finally, Raider Ramon called in.
Hey, how you doing, Raider Nation? I'm new on this. I just wanted to drop in and say hi. What's up, Murph? Thanks for giving me the number. Uncle Mosh, I think I met you at Hooters with Q-Dog. I didn't want to say what's up. Touch up real quick. I'm from the Bay Area. I grew up, know everything Oakland. Been to Oakland my whole life. Met Jim Plunkett. Was a little kid out there in the Bay running around. Good to be with you guys on Wednesdays and every now and then Tuesday when it happened. See your guys' take on everything going on. Touch bases on a few things so you guys know where I'm at when you guys see me talking. I didn't really like the Khalil Mack thing. That was my hero. He was my dude. I loved the monster. I understand why he had to go. I don't know why y'all mad at Seth Roberts anyway, because when we needed somebody to pull up some W's when we weren't that great, Sethy Boy was there. But I feel you guys, he was not an A-lister as a receiver. Other than that, I just want to call in, say what's good, so you guys know when I'm talking. You guys got a voice to go with the name. Y'all have a good day, night, year. Let's hopefully have a good season. One Nation, Raider Nation, Ramon out.
All right, great job,
Nice,
Raider Ramon.
nice.
Appreciate that phone call. So, Mosh, all right, you know we don't get into hard-hitting analysis very often around here, but I'm gonna drop something on you, and
Hit me.
this is important. Okay, I think that and I said last week we weren't going to talk about Derek Carr getting traded, and I'm not talking about Derek Carr getting traded, but I'm going to say something very, I think, important in terms of his career, and especially as we look back on his career, we reflect back on his place in Raiders history. With the departure of Seth Roberts, there is a lot of pressure now on Derek Carr because he now has the prettiest eyes on the football team. And I think that, it's really up to Derek to represent. He's got the eyeliner working. He's got the, the what do you call it? when you bat the lashes?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That whole batty lash thing.
Because Seth was holding it down, but now with him gone, it's clearly Derek's the man, right?
I'm saying this. I say... And I want you to know, Raider Nation, you heard it here first. Derek Carr goes goth. Derek Carr is going to start sprouting the black eyeliner. The black eyeliner.
Oh, like the thicker.
Yes.
Because he's got the natural look
got
already.
The natural look. You throw a little bit of black under here. If you're me, you throw it up here. But... That's on our website.
That's
too,
on our YouTube, yeah.
But Derek Carr could lock this up. Derek Carr could go HOF if he goes.
Yeah, he could absolutely. Good call, Mosh. Good call. I know that Sonny is excited about this because Sonny was all about Derek Carr being a handsome man. We'll just say.
Well, and Sonny was goth. So Sonny sported some eyeliner.
yeah. Back in the day, yeah.
All right, there we go. Where are we going next?
Alex in Tucson.
Come on, Alex.
Uncle Mosh, Murph, this is Alex Sandoval from Tucson, Arizona. Man, it's been a long week. I've been trying to figure out what to call in about. I usually call after the episode of the week before, but I didn't know what to talk about. But I finally think I have something to talk about, and that would be the running back situation for the Raiders. I don't think that the running back that we're going to take to Vegas is on the roster right now. Could we pick up somebody in the draft? It's likely. I mean, no, not likely. It's possible. I'm not sure if we will though, because I think there's other more important positions that we need a draft for. I think what we do is maybe next draft, 2020 draft, is when we get, a stout running back that we take to Vegas. That's going to be our big premier every down back. I think that this year that there's too many other important positions that we need to fill, and maybe we just kind of do with Marshawn Lynch if he does come back, or Doug Martin. I mean, that's not a bad duo. It's not like, it's not like next level good, but it's not a bad duo, and it will do for this year because, because it's just what we have to do. It's not the most important position that we need right now, but maybe. But in the end, going into Vegas, I would like a premier stout every down back. What do you guys think?
All right, great job. So I love the idea. The Raiders signed Isaiah Crowell, who's young. He's 26 years old, and by all accounts, a pretty good running back in the league. And I like that signing. I think that I love Josh Jacobs out of Alabama, Mosh. He's a great player. I don't know if the Raiders are going to have a big enough need for him to draft him as high as he'll go. But what I think was interesting, the most interesting thing to me about Crowell is that I think that leaves Doug Martin definitely out, and maybe even Marshawn. Like, we've all kind of been rooting, and I thought it was a slam dunk that Marshawn was going to get his swan song to Oakland, but I don't know, man. That running backs room is getting a little crowded now, so I don't know. You never know, man. So, but great question, Alex, and I think we'll know 2 weeks from now. We'll know for sure, depending on what the Raiders do in the draft. All right, next up, Uncle Mosh. We are going to go to the 330, which is Ohio, and this is going to be a newly crowned made man. And we're going to talk about our buddy Dave.
What's up, Mosh, Murph, Raider Nation? It's Dave from the 330 Ohio here again. I was listening to the fan club blitz there. Good stuff. They got me excited. They're talking about, they're building a team to win now. They're not building a team to win in Vegas. Talking playoffs possibly. I might be getting my hopes up for some heartbreak, but you know what? It's like that hot girl you see. It's like, you go talk to her. Maybe she'll give you the time of the day. Maybe she won't. You might end up closing time. You're leaving with like a 4 or a 2, but you might leave with a 9 or a 10 if you go talk to her. End of the season, we might be in the playoffs. We might be a dumpster fire. I don't think we will the second one, but, you don't ask them. You'll be stuck with, Carson Palmer's sister, Rosie, and sitting at home by yourself like all these freaking, what do I want to call them here?
Thanks for keeping
Let's call
it
them
PG-13.
master clickbaiters. But anyway, I got a little bit of trivia for you. I want to see if you can name the former Raiders player who is married to a Raiderette and has a late afternoon, early evening radio talk show. I don't want to give you too many hints. Los Angeles Raiders, I'll give you that. All right, go Raiders.
Wow, well, first off, congratulations, Dave, on becoming a made man, and let me hit your music, and I will, I'm going to Google this, because I have no idea who it is.
You are a made man. You showed you are part of the family by participation. By chance, a man like yourself should make enemies, then they would become my enemies. Showing you are a friend of Raiders Fan Radio, you have leapt across the line. Friendship is everything. Friendship is more than talent. It is more than the government. It's almost equal to family. Be loyal. Made man, Raider fan. Someday, and that day may never come, I'll call upon you to do a service for me. But until that day, accept this as a gift. And don't ever forget, words can hurt more, but silence can break hearts.
All right, congratulations to Dave in the 330. As Ron, the Maderator, said, we now have 2 made men in the 330, Uncle Mosh. And, he asked the trivia question there, who's the former Raiders player that has a morning show and married a Raiderette? I don't know who it is. I just tried to look it up, and I couldn't find it. So, do you know who it is?
No, I don't. I used to know who married a Raiderette, but I don't know.
I feel like Elway did or something, like somebody weird like that. Like, there was some weird thing, but I don't know. But I really don't know. You got us, man. That's a great trivia question. So call us back and let us know what the answer is. And, heck, I would say we might elevate your made man status, but you're already a made man. So you stumped us and you achieved made man status all in one fell swoop. So congratulations.
Now that we got 2 guys from Ohio, what do they think about Cincinnati Chucky?
Yeah, great call. Yeah, absolutely, Ron. Yeah. Tell us about that. Tell us what's going on down there with Bengal Chucky.
Oh, that's what it is, Bengal Chucky.
Bengal Chucky.
Bengal Chucky. I have Bengal Chucky. Hey, hand me the Bengal Chucky. Put some cheese on that Bengal Chucky. Sorry.
Or chili on their pasta. That's another thing they do in Cincinnati. Look, man.
Okay.
You don't put chili on pasta.
It's got a hint of cinnamon on top of it. And you
What
can
do you
even
think about that. Now we're not opposed to different kinds of food. We grew up with your mom, my grandma Jenny, the most amazing Italian cook in the planet.
Yeah.
But and she used to put beans and pasta and pasta fazool and all that. That was fine. But we're not opposed to trying new things. But the chili and pasta thing,
the chili on pasta with a hint of cinnamon over a hot dog. I've had all that in my stomach at once before, but never intentionally at the same time. Actually, I did try it.
Did you like it?
I was in Cincinnati for 9 months one weekend, and and I actually did. It's Skyline is the name of it. Skyline chili.
Did you like it?
It wasn't bad. To tell you the truth, it really wasn't.
On the pasta?
It wasn't. I mean, hey, it is what it is. It's Midwestern pasta. Anybody can boil pasta, but the chili wasn't all that bad. And, you know, I love what Ron says. Ohio don't claim Cincinnati.
Nice.
Because if I might be mistaken, Ron will correct me, but I think they look at it as Kentucky North.
There we go. Right on. Good call. All right, we got two more, Uncle Mosh. First up, or first of the last two anyways, is our buddy Houston Raiders Steve.
Hey, Murph and Mosh, this is Houston Raiders Steve. Man, I'm so pumped up with all these draft picks that we got. Crowell, Marshall, and of course the other Burfict and all these guys. What's wrong with the Raiders being a little bit nasty and everything on defense? You know, it's about time those other teams kind of feared us and everything, like they did when Tatum was playing and everything. Hey, man, I've been so pumped up about this. You know, of course, the left tackle that we got from the Patriots and, of course, Antonio Brown. Man, just hearing him talking everything, man, he's all pumped up. He says, I dare you defensive backs to try to cover me. Try to cover me with a towel or anything you want. I'm going to just be out here practicing. He's on the practice field with Romanowski on the football field and everything out there, you know, going through the paces and everything, and also with Derek Carr, man, they're best friends, man. I'm just so pumped up, man. We haven't had this for a very long time, you know, and don't get me wrong, I liked Reggie and everything, but, you know, he got us out of the salary cap hell that Al put us through for those 3 years after Al passed away. But you can't blame Al. He just wanted to win in the very end of his life and everything. So anyway, things are looking bright. I'm pumped up. Wear my Raiders stuff. Going to talk to Chuck McCann from the Spoilerhead and Fit Show. So pumped up about that. Your show is awesome. Mikey's show, Raider Nation podcast, Philippine podcast. It's just awesome, man. I'm just so pumped up, man. I just want to put on some shoulder pads and hit somebody. we got the swagger back, as we say. Go Raiders. Raiders.
All right, Houston Raiders Steve. He's great, man. Yeah, he joined those guys on the Fan Club Blitz, man. It was fun. It was fun. Yeah, good time hearing those guys. Of course, they're on the Murph's Fan Cave feed. You can find the Fan Club Blitz, and man, that show's great, man. Those guys,
they're so fun.
They really are, and I've always liked that show and always been proud to have it on our network. But you can, you know, just like with anything, the more you do it, the more practice you get, the better you get at it.
They're polished,
and
man.
they really are. Their polish is starting to show, and their timing and their chemistry, and it's fun. It's a fun show to listen to, and so all the luck to those guys. Continued good luck, and they've got a couple other ventures they're working on too, where they're going to expand out and do more and keep their Fan Club Blitz show a little more Fan Club Blitzy,
right?
And they're going to do another show called Inebriation, where they're going to do their beer and music stuff.
Oh, no way!
Yeah, and it's going to be great. So Inebriation, that's going to be with the Crow's Nest guys, with the Pillaging Podcast guys, and then the Fan Club Blitz will still be home here on Murph's Fan Cave. But it's a perfect fit, I think, for both of those shows and those guys. And so,
are we going to carry them as well? The other show, the Inebriation?
No, they'll be on the other network. They'll be on Crow's Nest. We'll endorse them and support them because we're all friends.
We could link to them.
Yeah,
okay,
absolutely.
Cool.
But Fan Club Blitz will stay here. But it will be cool because Fan Club Blitz will then stay more. You know, podcasting is always best when it's streamlined. You know, and so and I'm not hating on anybody that gets off into the other topips, but
because we do it,
because we veer too, and you've got to veer, but for the most part, you want to keep it as streamlined as you can, and so they're going to keep their content a little more Raidery, fan clubby the stuff that's
Cool.
on our
Very
network,
cool.
and then their home brewing and music stuff will then be on their other show. So
and
it
they
should
got
be-
some great music stuff. Man.
It's fantastic.
Unbelievable
I
stuff.
called this week with a punk rock question because I had a question about the origins of punk rock, about whether it was singular to if they looked at it like a band or if it was like a movement of bands, and their answers were phenomenal because, I mean, not only are those guys, consumers of that stuff, but Chuck was a musician for many, many years, man. And I know even you, Mosh, you were a big Tubes fan back in the day. You were all about punk rock.
Faye Wable and the Tubes, man. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I loved them. White Punks on Dope was my favorite song. And What Do You Want From Life was my other one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
I loved how it ended. A Monza, Maverick, a Macedon, a Merc Montclair, a Winnebago. Hell, I heard of Winnebagos. We're giving them away. It was great. It was great. I loved it.
Cool.
Loved it.
That's cool. Right on. All right. Well, Mosh, we got one call left. We got no other segments tonight. This will be it. We ran way long tonight. We want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Everybody in the chat: Watts Raider, Jesse Rosales, Irish Raider, Q Dog Raider, Ron the Mater Raider, of course, Dakota Raider. You guys are, you're marathoning in there, hanging out with us for going on 2.5 hours. We appreciate you incredibly. We appreciate everybody that's going to join us at the draft. Look forward to having so much cool content come to you that week. That Thursday, Mosh, we will be at the draft. We will be in the crowd, in the mix. You, me, Aaron the Q-Dog Raider, and whoever else from Raider Nation wants to tag along. We're going to be right in the middle of it all. Friday, we're going to do the NFL draft experience. I'm going to take the boys up for that. Of course, Mosh, if you want to come with us, please do.
Absolutely.
Q-Dog will be with us for that also. We're going to go do the draft experience, and then Saturday will be kind of our main event. That will be our live stream, which will be on Saturday over lunch at the Bavarian Beer House, and then we and our family, your grandnephews will be there.
Yep.
We'll do all that, and then we're gonna head back up to downtown because the official Raider Nation events go on that night that we all got invited to. So it's just going to be a whirlwind over 3 days. We're going to live stream. We're going to send pictures. We're going to do all kinds of stuff all over our social media. So follow us anywhere you can follow us. No fan left behind. We're going to keep that stuff coming. And so that's all I got. So I'm going to play this last one here. I'm going to let Uncle Mosh close it out along with our last phone call. And guess what, Raider Nation? Patrick Mahomes called Raiders Fan Radio. Yeah, that Patrick Mahomes.
Hello, Murph and Mosh. It is I, Patrick Mahomes. Today is a glorious Monday, April the 1st, and I just wanted to send a message to Raider Nation telling them that I am coming for them. And next season, will be even better than the last, as we have the best offense and defense in the AFC West. We have players such as Travis Kelce. Yes, we have Travis Kelce, and Tyreek Hill will be busy getting parenting lessons from Adrian Peterson. Maybe not. You know what? I, Patrick Mahomes, will play both offense and defense next year because I am that good. If Tom Brady is the GOAT, you can call me the Frog. I am football's resident of greatness. Now, if you excuse me, I think I hear Miss Piggy, Andy Reid, cooking bacon. So I must go now. But know this, I will call again. Enjoy what little bit of hope you have, Raiders. Go Chiefs.
What? Oh my gosh, there's like 3 lines in there. Tyreek Hill taking parenting lessons from Adrian Peterson is not hilarious, the topic, obviously, but that is so funny. The Andy Reid rip is great, but the best though was if Tom Brady's the GOAT, I am the Frog.
Well, that was too funny. And, I'm going to give him this one.
Sizzler.
Oh, my goodness. Hey, so it was really good to hear from Running Bear. Glad that he's feeling better, man. Called with some great picks and talked about the Giants. Seaport Raider, first-time caller. He gave us some props. That was wonderful. James in Arkansas, talking about how the defense is getting them hyped and broke a new record, getting beeped 5 times. Now, that is not a challenge, folks.
Yeah. That's extra work for Murph. Don't do that, please.
Yeah. And then, of course, Hardcore Raider calling out Q a little bit about the hit list and keeping the capo real. And poor guy stuck there in Donkey Land. God bless him.
Oh, man.
And Raider Ramon, it's about time you called, buddy. Thanks to hear from you. And Alex in Tucson, I love what he said when he talked about drafts in the future.
Oh.
You know, people forget Gruden was a 10-year plan.
Yeah,
you know? So,
good point.
And Dave getting made and Houston Steve, pumped about AB. I mean, it was a good night. It was a good night for our callers, man.
Absolutely.
And we look forward to doing it. And next time we're together, it will be on the air. It will be at the draft.
At the draft.
That's exciting.
Just over 2 weeks?
That's
2 weeks tomorrow, right?
2 weeks tomorrow.
Oh, man. Can't get here soon enough.
I better get a sub.
yeah.
Hey, our Raiders, they are.
We are Metallica, and we are here for your Oakland Raiders!
You know why we out here, and we ain't playing around today.
From The Walking Dead to errant Jedi Knights, Raiders fans are a rogues gallery.
All right, so
take us home, Uncle Mosh.
Raider Nation, we are out of here. And for Murph and Jeff, the brand new Raider fan, we'd like to say thanks for listening tonight. And this is your old Uncle Mosh. You've been listening to Raiders Fan Radio, where we take a lighter side journey into the dark side. Never forget, what happens in Vegas started in Oakland.
If Tom Brady is the GOAT, you can call me the Frog. I am football's resident of greatness. Now, if you excuse me,